Peace, family. I wanted to show you some of these great quality t-shirts that were designed by the brother Shaka. The I Am t-shirts. I am a generator, an operator, and a destroyer. Great quality t-shirts, 100% cotton. If you like one of these t-shirts, reach out to the brother Shaka at N as in Nancy, F as in Frank, N as in Nancy, Shaka at gmail.com. That's NFN Shaka at gmail.com. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Okay, family. Most of us are magnesium deficient in our diets, in our lifestyles, and this is a very powerful alkalizer for your water. Simply place it in your water. But let's muscle test to see where the status is before I Tesla activate this. So I'm going to try the lift of the 45-pound weight, which is right here. You can see it at my feet. Here's my lift. Okay. And here's the magnesium. Magnesium has over 350 functions in the body. And if you have magnesium deficiency, one of them is also known as high blood pressure. So I'm holding the magnesium. Oh, okay, a little bit better compared to without. And this is muscle testing. All right. Now, this is where the fun begins, where we actually Tesla activate the magnesium. All right, I'm gonna turn it around. And this is what I believe is also done with the purple plate. That they take aluminum and super activate with the Tesla coil, and the aluminum becomes highly beneficial for the body. All right, now let's test the magnesium. Okay, I got a buzz just from working with the Tesla coil. All right, now I'm going to hold the magnesium rod. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You see the difference? I don't lift weights. Oh, that's muscle testing. Okay. Now what I'm going to do with this is sit it inside my water, for the purpose of having magnesium alkaline water. And this is now available at Oregon for you. Here it is, family. The best soup in Brooklyn. Prepared meticulously, exclusively by the world famous Coconut Rob. Coconut Rob, what do you have in this delicious
what did I do?
conundrum? this awesome feast of nutritious delight. Tell us what you hooked it up with.
It's a combination of a couple of things, actually.
Couple? Looks like
Yeah.
a whole collage.
Nah, well, the actual base of it is the great northern beans, great northern white beans, and then we did it with a whole, as you would say, a conundrum of vegetables. All right, the malanga cocoa, which I like, of course. It's a root vegetable, but it's low in starch and rich in vitamin B2. So we use that and let that kind of come to a boil in the water, and then that thickens the broth. Wow. Then we use the barrel bananas, butternut squash noodles. Also, we use zucchini noodles, bell peppers, red bell peppers, green bell peppers, yellow bell peppers. And in this one in particular, we brought some both East African and West African seasonings. We used the East African seasoning called a shiro, which is usually used with like miso wet and lentils and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's added like a little bit of spice. And then we use the Ghanaian seasoning in there that's called shitsu or shitu. actually. It's like a red bean.
Lord have
But
mercy.
this one is all vegan, of course. It's got a nice little spice to it.
Yeah, and
So-
those who are sensitive to salt, is there any salt in here?
Absolutely no salt. at
No
all.
salt.
We don't use any salt.
What days are you here?
Well, today I'm here Tuesday. Tomorrow I'll be here too, but the soup days are principally Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. But, of course, the public demands, I'm going to probably make a small one also tomorrow as well.
Excellent. And
look good?
yeah, man, what's the contact number?
Oh, 347-243-1678. And of course, you know I'm here at Nicholas, Brooklyn.
1396 Fulton
1396
Street
Fulton
in
Street,
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn
between
Avenue.
New York and Brooklyn Avenue. God
Absolutely.
bless the cook and the time it took.
The toppings are arugula, avocados, a mango chutney, a cucumber chutney, and culantro, or what they call shadow benny. Baby spinach and baby arugula.
Excellent. Yummy, yummy for your tummy. Family, I am here with a magical moment of young musicians. And this is Kim, Sister Kim, and she has a message about investing into the future musicians of our community. Sister Kim, tell us what you got here.
Hi everyone, Kim, proud parent of children at the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. We teach HBCU high-stepping marching band to our kids from age 5 and up. It is a free after-school program, tuitionless, and it's open to all. Our kids are amazing. If you can, jump on our website. We're looking for support, donations. Our kids need new instruments so that they can high step on. Our website is www.bola.org, BALAA.org. And I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so, family, listen up close. We're talking about investing in the artists of tomorrow. By investing in them, if you have a little expendable change to invest in the youth, the genius, this is the opportunity. And in the description on this video will be the details of sending your donation to PayPal or Zelle or Cash App.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for your support. Our children are the future.
Remember to subscribe, share, and like this video. And magnets, crystals, pyramids, and remember to journey to the bliss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Putting out a call to the warrior in you, to the healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
All right, and supposedly Brother Baraka is going to be joining us, and I'm going to do the opening invocation momentarily.
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember, always who you are. Yes. Yes. I am. Love, wisdom, power. Yes. I am. Love,
Okay. I am in me. I am in you, the listening audience, now and in the future. I am in Miss Bliss. I am in Kafunya. I am in Lloyd Strayhorn. I am in Ras Ben. I am Baba Phil Valentine. I am in the sea of life. We individually and collectively call upon the sea of love, and as countless lifetimes in our past, we bring our awareness to the countless wave incarnations of our soul, and we say, I am forgiving all staccato speaking and acting souls from my past lives, and I ask all souls to please forgive me. And as we peel the heel of our consciousness into the here and now, we say together, I am forgiving all future possibilities, all future soul incarnations, and I am forgiving all in this life. And most of all, I ask they forgive me and I forgive myself. With that being said, I want to acknowledge our big ascended master brothers and sisters, Sheikh Amadou Bamba, Sheikh Ibrahim, ascended masters from Africa. Sheikh Amadou Bamba flew through the air, bulletproof, walked on water, fireproof, put in the flames, hungry lion proof. We ask and we thank you for being on the show with us in the past, and we ask and thank you for being on with us tonight. We call upon the latest Christ born in the Congo, Simeon Toko, to be with us on this platform tonight. Simeon Toko was born in the Congo. He raised an army of black angels. He's invoked the army of black angels, muscle-bound, bulletproof, turned over the heavy tanks of the occupational terrorist Belgians and ran them out of the Congo. We ask Simeon Toko that you be with us on this show. Call on the gatekeeper of Mount Shasta in Northern California, Saint Germain. Be with us on this platform. Nikolai Tesla, be with us. Imhotep, Ptahotep, Akhenaten, Sanat Kumara, Kathumi, be with us on this platform. Buddha, Lady Buddhas. Yeah, there's Lady Buddhas, family. It's been suppressed by the patriotical misdirection, okay? There's Lady Buddhas, and they're honored in Vietnam. So I just want y'all to know, all right? So that means there might be some Lady Krishnas too. So we invite the spirit of Krishna to be with us, and the Lady Krishnas too, and the Lady Ascended Masters, Black Madonna, Mother Mary, Yahshua, Enoch, the Ethiopian. Call on Angel of Protection to be with all our family, friends, and loved ones, our children, wives, girlfriends, grandparents, all. Archangel Michael, we thank you and invite you. Angel of Strength, Archangel Gabriel. We call on Angel of Enlightenment, Archangel Uriel, to be with us on this platform. We call on Seraphis Bey, Marcus Mosaic Garvey, El Haj Malik El Shabazz, Prophet Elijah Muhammad. We call on Prophet Nat Turner, John Brown, Harriet Tubman, Mary McLeod Bethune, White Buffalo Calf Woman. We call on Tahuti, who was also known as Quetzalcoatl. Be with us on this platform. And all the Jedi brothers and sisters who are in the pulse of love supreme, dancing and moving to the rhythm, so that we may be elevated each day of our lives. We say together, Ashe, Mahalo, Donada, Wado, Amen, Amen. And again, y'all family, let me know if the sound is good. And also, let us know what part of the world you are listening from. And let's bring on the co-hostess, the mostest. Here's Miss Bliss. We're going to bring on Kafolia Star Rebel, because she's going to make some announcements.
Hello, Miss Bliss. You're looking beautiful tonight.
Thank you, my dear. You look gorgeous also.
Wait. Bliss and Kafunya, you know how y'all women be doing twisted things to us men. When we say that, y'all say, what did I look like yesterday?
Come on.
That's Cafunia and I sharing that sisterly love, you know, that fire,
Yeah,
that
you're
passion,
looking
agape
beautiful,
love.
rising sun.
Hey, I've been in the lab zone,
Of
and
course
it's
you
good to see
are.
you. Yeah, got some good stuff, and we got Ras Ben coming up front and forward.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's there. Ras, you can hear us? I don't know where he went that quick. You know.
Listen, I was just in the twilight zone.
Ras,
Just
you can hear us?
Big up, big up.
Big up.
Love, respect,
Love.
honor.
listen, I was just in the twilight zone. Just
Big up, big up.
Big up.
Love.
Okay, you
honor.
phone, you got to shut that off.
what?
Yeah, you got to close every window except the one that we're working from because we're hearing feedback.
How about now?
Now it's good.
All right, give thanks.
All right, yeah, I can hear y'all now.
Yeah, it was nice and clear. Bliss,
Yes.
you got any news for us? Because you was definitely on point when you was talking about all the craziness. Because folks been acting cray every day.
You know what? I'm going to let everybody else let y'all know what the news is going to be. We just need to know if I'm going to be right. So I'm going to leave it up to Phil Valentine, Lloyd Strayhorn, Ras Ben. I'll let them bring the news to y'all.
Okay, all right. But first, we're going to have Cafunia make the announcement. Talk to us, Leo. What you going to drop on us tonight besides a meow?
Well, I'm bringing in the frequencies.
Sound like you clicking pans together. Come on now, get that sound right. You in the kitchen? Ooh, that's
He
nice.
cooking in the kitchen. Oh, yeah. Yes, I received that. Bathe me.
Yes, I was in the twilight zone. I just got a pyramid, a copper pyramid, and I took a nap. And I forgot when I went into my healing room, I had brought my laptop in, and I was freaking out because most of the time my laptop is right here at my command station. So I called my sons. I said, "Who disconnected my?" Anyway, I'm all good. I'm right here, and I'm very, very excited to be with some avatars. Baraka Mayo, greetings.
Baraka, my goodness. You look great, Baraka. I haven't seen you in so long.
Peace, bless, peace to everyone. It's good to see you as well.
Yo, Baraka, turn your phone sideways so we have full screen, man.
Yeah, it wouldn't
It's turning him sideways.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe you ain't got an iPhone. Oh well.
I don't.
And greetings to Ras Ben as well. There's a whole lot of shaking going on in December, what they call December. Okay, there's a lot going on. First and foremost, tonight, as we're in the frequency of the number 7, we got the 3 wise men, or 4 wise men, or 5 wise men, and 2 wise women, and they dealing with the 2024 forecast. And that's with Lloyd Strayhorn, Baba Phil Valentine, Ras Ben, and I think that there's a couple of more people that are joining the party.
Yeah.
So,
Dara.
Adara. So there's a, like Bliss alluded to, there's a whole lot of shaking going on. It could be both positive timeline or a negative timeline. It all depends on what you're plugged into. That's the most important thing. And then coming up on the 12th, is that the 12/12, Ras Ben is doing a Zoom class, and we're gonna put. Did you get the flyer?
It's in the show description. Kafunya, did you read it?
I thought you were gonna show the flyer, Mr. 7 Sagittarius.
Oh yeah, I got the flyer right here. Hold on one second. Let me just scroll through. Bam, here it is. And he's going to be speaking on. There it is. And also I got another one. Well, I think that Ross is going to be explaining where we are going.
Right.
In the show.
12/12 vibration that we're dealing with. And not only that,
so I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull up the flyer.
Okay.
Go ahead. We're listening to you, Kafunya.
Interrupting my flow, Joe.
Oh, well, you know, you got to ride with the hiccup and take us up.
All right. Whoop, 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 whoop. Here we go. Let me just chime. Hold on.
This is tonight's show, and you're going to have something else. So let me bring up the other flyer. Go ahead, Kafunya. We listen. Oh, she's rolling the.
Yes.
Yes.
While Rising Sun is looking for the flyer, Kafunya mentioned it. 12/12.
Yes, the 12/12.
12/12. We're gonna balance the scales with the 24.
Yes.
That's why we chose that 12/12 going into the 24. You know, we're gonna go deep into our 2024 vision. We're gonna share a little tonight, but it is a Zoom session. The Star Rebel is gonna be a hostess with the mostest for us that night as well.
Yes, I am.
Be honored with the presence. We're gonna be drinking that purple drink.
All right. I'm gonna make sure I have some Kaliva.
The red and blue pills are gonna be with us, you know. So red and blue, that purple drink. And brother's gonna give us enough insight on the 23 year in review and their vision of what's happening going into 24, you know?
Right. And also, if people are interested, Brother Unk Rising, can you do the pleasure of putting it's RasBen188 at gmail.com. Once you
hold on a second.
Okay. See?
Hold on. Let me pull up our brother, our master teacher, Lloyd Strayhorn. I'm gonna put Lloyd right next to Bliss.
There we go.
Lloyd.
There we go. Salute, elder. Respect.
Yes. Can you hear us?
I think he's frozen.
Yeah.
He looks frozen. Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Hi.
Greetings, Lloyd.
Greetings.
Yes. We got another number 7 in the building.
Okay, hold on. We also got our big brother Phil. I call him Big Brother. Like no other. What's going on with the shuffle? I don't know. Somebody just pulled their card real quick. I think that was Lloyd.
Peace to all the brothers and all the mamas. Peace to everyone. Greetings. Peace and love, blessings, all of that.
Respect. Salute.
Yeah, Kafunya, I'm looking for your the one that you had. I'm looking. I'm looking for it.
So, greetings, Baba Valentine. How are you today?
I'm well, my beloved sister. How are you?
I'm thankful to be in the mix of these mighty avatars, including myself.
Ashe.
Yes. And thank you for the wonderful presentation that you were talking about the cryptocurrency, the XRP and Novatech. Thank you so much for that.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Just
you.
had a very profound report today from Bloomberg about XRP. And
Okay,
they're saying this is, well, you know, we may be hype or not, but this is from a second source. They did it on another source and pulled it down very quickly. And they did it on Bloomberg and pulled it down very quickly.
Wow.
That XRP is slated to hit 60,000 per coin.
Wow.
Because it has to cover the entire global market financing, which is in the quadrillion. So it can't stay at 61 cents. It can't even be at 10,000. It has to be of a much higher rate. The way that they're bringing gold now, going up to 5 and 10,000.
Wow.
Wow.
I tell you, brother Phil, when I saw XRP being advertised in the World Trade Center, I said, let me go get me some XRP. And then when they went through the whole court thing, they pulled the advertising, but then I expect to see more advertisement, like they have Grayscale up now, you know. So it's very interesting, but I don't want to get ahead of everybody because I'm supposed to be doing the announcement of time steps.
Okay, so here's the flyer, Kafunya.
Yes. So, hey, we're going to go in because, like I said, December, the so-called name December, or the timeline that we're in, there's a whole lot of shaking going on. It could be positive timeline or negative timeline, and we need to have the roadmap. We need to have the inner GPS, and we have the avatars here to guide us. We got Ras Ben, we got Phil Valentine, we got the mostest and the toastest, beautiful brother Lloyd Strayhorn, and Baba Baraka Mayo, Miss Bliss. We got a whole party going on. And then this is on the 12/12. So if people are interested in getting their love ticket donation, you can go to RasBen188 at gmail.com. And the PayPal is RasBen188. Is that's correct, Ross?
Yeah, $ Ras Ben188.
Oh, that's for the Cash App. Right. Yeah. I apologize. The Cash App is $ Ras Ben188, and the PayPal is RasBen188 at gmail.com. Yes. And once you receive, once we receive the love donation of $24, okay, we will send you the information so you can chime in. One more thing in the month of December. On December 16th at Nicholas, Brooklyn, we're going to have a barrage, a party. We're going to have our beautiful brother Wayne Chandler, the Qigong and the Nigong master, along with special guests, Kaba, Professor Kaba. We got myself. We got Ras Ben. It's going to be a party, and that's December 16th. And there's 2 parts to it. There's a lecture. If people are interested in doing the lecture, they can just do the lecture. If they want the whole package, they can do the lecture and the Qigong workshop. This brother is coming with the fire. And then bringing in the new year, Baba Phil Valentine will talk about what he's going to be bringing. And oh boy, get ready. I give thanks for me being the cheerleader. That's what Rising Sun called me a cheerleader.
That's right. You're doing it. You're doing it because we were supposed to have two other cheerleaders, but I guess this wasn't important enough. Bliss, can you find out what happened to your homegirls, Sunada
Yeah,
and
they
Adara?
texted me. She just texted me and said she's on her way.
Oh, okay, cool. All
They're
right.
on their
So,
way.
all right, now, thank you, Kofunya, but hang out and hold space so
Oh,
you have your feminine Shakti in our face. And moving in order of age and appreciation of time and sacrifice, I want to give the front stage first and foremost because of his time constraints and exotic lifestyle. Master Lloyd Strayhorn, you got front and center, brother.
Mm.
You know, you need to take that out, Phil. It's good to see everybody. You do have
yes.
All right.
well, you got a birthday coming up later this month, my friend.
Yes, I do.
First one to wish you a happy birthday. Earth
Thank you
Day.
so much. Thank you so much, Lord. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, we never forget. So that's how we do.
That's a fact.
It's good to be in with distinguished companies. I know there's at least four of us to the number seven: Kofunya, Phil, Hank Risington, and myself. And this is a 7-day, and it started at 7 o'clock. But if you even take Bliss's birthday, January the 6th, 1 + 6 is 7. So I mean, I'm stretching it, but I'm trying to do the best I can.
You're doing great, brother. You're doing great.
But one thing about the forecast, the year coming up favors those. Well, 8 first of all is ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn represents the past. Saturn represents debts. Saturn represents the 8th house, which is the house of death. So that's why 8 always means death or rest from labor. It could be symbolic death, not a literal death like they took 13, called, when they were cutting off the heads. And so it's things like that. But it means that it's going to be a time for all of us to go in terms of a higher level of consciousness, look into the history of our lives. And it's interesting, Saturn rules Father Time, archaeology, research. This is why almost all of the Black historians, without exceptions, have been Capricorns, from Dr. Diop, Dr. John Hope Franklin, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. They've all been Capricorns for whatever reason. So that's just that kind of energy. So people are going to do a lot of growing up. Yes, we're all adults, but I mean, we're going to be looking to see what part we're playing on life stage, how things are really fitting in the cast of characters that have been in our lives and what part they played. And it's going to be doing a lot of growing up for all of us. And we're going to be reconnected with our past by events such as weddings, transitions of family members, friends, and relatives, things that bring us back. Thanks very much, Barack Obama. Thank you very much. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of things going on. It's also a pregnancy cycle. Now, it could be in biological pregnancies, but don't forget, numbers speak in symbolic terms also. Birth to a new idea, birth to a concept, birth to this new world order in that sense, in the sense that they think that things are going to happen. But my attitude is, despite what their plans are, that by 2030, you'll want for nothing and stuff like that. I know what their script is, but I believe in a higher source.
Of
And a
course.
higher source says, I don't believe that's going to go down like that. But it's all wishful thinking. So with that, I respect that, but I really don't think that it is. And for those who think that we can be eliminated or minimized, you cannot destroy the original man. You just can't do that. It's not going to happen. Because if they destroy the original man, they themselves are destroyed. Because everything comes from us. We are the source of life, everything. The oldest bones was found in Africa, not Europe, not Asia, okay, in Africa. And so all these are testaments, oldest pyramids. And so when I say numerology is an African science, some people get a little bent out of shape. But if you look at the pyramids, and the pyramids are built in Egypt, and Egypt's on the African continent, if that is not a testimony that it is built at the exact center of the earth, and it's one of the few man-made structures that can be seen from outer space other than the Great Wall of China.
Wow.
So those under Capricorn, those under Aquarius, those that are born on the 8th, the 17th, and the 26th of the month, y'all will be my new best friend for the year coming up. But for all of us, it means that we should aim to achieve, to establish recognition, to reconnect with our past by way And by reconnecting with the past, we're really going to connect with our ancestors because they are reflections of that. Our mothers, our grandmothers, even though they may have transitioned, but there will be a way that we need to begin to tap in and understand that without them, we wouldn't have got here.
Facts.
That's right.
Phil, it is good to see you, my friend.
Yo, you look like a Kahuna priest, Brother Phil.
Yeah, Phil is looking good. That's my man.
You look like you're ready to do one of those chants from the island of Molokai, man, to bring down Babylon.
Trust me, it's going on.
Oh,
They
wow.
talk about depopulation. There's also depopulation.
I'm talking away, and I have my mute on.
But you know, it's amazing that I am blessed to be in the most company with the most brilliant people living on the planet at this point. And for that, I'm very, very blessed. Phil and I's history go back almost 30, 40 years. It's got to easy in the 80s, without question. You know what I'm saying? And little did we know that we would all go full circle. You see, I've heard about Ras Ben for a while. Had the pleasure of being. I wish I could have been there that day on the 16th. I'm also out of town. It's just crazy, but it's all right. One day I'll catch up with you face to face, Ras Ben, or whatever. And Brother Baraka.
Face or face remember.
Is that? I hope that's not me.
No,
My granddaughter.
that was me. Let me mute.
Yeah. So anyway, I've said my say. Everybody's got to come of age. Everybody's going to really grow. It is a definitely an ancestral year. And by the way, 8 is one of the opposition numbers to the United States as well as next year. So if you would have asked me what would be the conditions of the United States this year at 2024, 2025, I would say since 8 and 9 of their opposition numbers is not going to be the best. And I think people can tell from the economy, the way things are going, the wars that are going on, some of the injustices that makes absolutely no sense at all in terms of humanity. I would say that it's not looking good. I wish I could paint a better picture, but I keep it real when
Yo, straight shoot from the hip, man. That's what I appreciate about you, Lloyd.
It's
Don't
numbers. 8 is one of the major opposition numbers to the United States of America, as well as the number 9. And we're entering the year of the 8. And so people can tell what the economy is. Items you used to get at a grocery store for about $30 or $40 is now $60, $70. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, crazy kind of prices. So everything can go up. The wealthy goes up, but the little man's prices or his salary still remains the same. What kind of math is that? You don't need to be, you don't even need a GED to know where that's going. The average rent now is over $2,000. The space is getting smaller. So I understand now why all these storage companies are built around Harlem now. So you can't keep yourself in your home no more. You got to pay all that money for rent. Then you got to spend money to store it in a storage house.
Wow.
So this is it. But I'm sure there are other things too. So I'm going to stop running my mouth so other distinguished guests can have their say.
One question, Lloyd. Before you go, what numbers are in harmony with this coming year, and which numbers have to be on their P's and Q's?
The 3 and the 6, and on opposition, the 5s and the 4s.
Also, so the 3s and the 6 are going to do good.
Yes. Saturn. The only planets that Saturn really gets along with is Venus and Jupiter. Venus is 6. Jupiter is 3. The opposition planets are Uranus and Mercury, which would therefore be Aquarius, Leo, and in a minor way, Gemini and Virgo. But it all depends. But you could have a Gemini that's a Gemini 8 born on the 8th of June, the 17th of June, or the 26th of May. So this would modify. That's the beauty why I got into astronumerology, okay? Because it all depends on the date of birth. So if I say an Aquarius, if the person's born on January the 26th, February the 8th, February the 17th, that modifies it greatly, you see? But in a general way, those would be the signs that would be challenged a little bit more than they need to.
Brother Lloyd, it's always a pleasure to see you and to talk to you. I would like to know if you could share with us in terms of the energy that is coming up in relation to, you mentioned higher consciousness, death, the past. What are some of the things that we can do to tune into and maximize the energy that we're dealing with in this coming year?
A good question. My attitude is about dealing with tradition, reconnecting with our ancestors, although some may have been transitioned to build altars or prayers or burn candles, but things to kind of reconnect us with those things. But sometimes we forget. You think we got here all by ourselves. No, we had to get here through a need of a mom and a dad, and then their mother and father got them here, and then their mother and father got them there. So if you go back to the ancestral work, and there was this interesting thing that actually, if you take one of us, it took about maybe almost 20,000 of our ancestors, their mothers and fathers, their mothers and fathers, their mothers and fathers. You're talking about going back hundreds of years. We're talking about thousands and thousands of connections. So we forget of that. And so now we're so caught up into the glitz and the glamour and the cards and the this and the that we forget to focus on those things that brought us to this point. None of us got here by ourselves.
Very eloquently described, Lloyd Strayhorn. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
We haven't never did anything like this before. So what just popped in my head after Lloyd spoke is perhaps Baba Phil can give like an overview like Lloyd did, and then Ras Ben, and then we circulate and drop it a little deeper, like being at the beach and having our toes get wet. Makes sense?
Yep.
So if that's cool, I want to acknowledge Adara. I want to acknowledge Sunata. I want to thank Miss Bliss and Kafunya. And I'm glad that this whirlpool pulled Baraka into the show tonight. So, Baba Phil, speaking from that energy you coming with, man, it's like radiating through the screen. What does it look like for the folks coming into 2024? Talk to us, Baba Phil.
Well, if you have the flyer, I can actually bounce off of some of the things I put.
Oh, yes, I do. I came loaded, brother. Bam. There it is.
Wow.
Well, I created this flyer based on a knowledge of what it is that's getting ready to happen. The origins of the deep state. Actually, the aristocracy of evil is something I did back in the early 1990s when I began to expose the Vatican and the aristocracy that it oversaw in the commercial, in the economic, in the political, in the military, in the whole 9 yards. So I'm doing it as a redux, it's a redo. But this one is dealing with the constructs of the new old order. Because this is not anything new. There's no new old world order. There's a new old order. And they are the ones who have taken on the batons from the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the rest of these people who have been working through the Vatican and the Jesuits to actually create the scenario that you're seeing happening between now and 2030, actually 2035, but 2030 will be the jump-off point that would cement their victory, so to speak. So what I had to do at this time is to bring us back to the origins of the deep state, who are now showing themselves, because the idea of genocide is now being put out there as something that we should all become acclimated to at this time. The word genocide and pictures and movies where the entire humanity is wiped out, nothing but devastation. This is to program. This is what I'm going to get into when the time comes, when they begin to see me explain why the conditioning process. So we're going to deal with I saw the who, what, when, where, and why. We have to definitely understand who has been behind it, what has been the end game and end goal, when their particular, protocols and projects will be coming to fruition, where, of course, on plain Earth, and why is because of power and world domination, based upon the religious premise that we are the chosen people, chosen to rule, chosen by whatever God that they're dealing with on a satanic level. And you see all the different symbols that I put up there to show you what they do behind the curtains that you don't know. This particular person who is supposedly the Pope before, they essentially are about dealing with Lucifer. They have a temple to Lucifer in the Vatican. Now we all know that Lucifer is nothing else but the planet Venus, and the fact that we're dealing with astrotheology and not any kind of religious God coming down on a cloud and the whole 9 yards. They have twisted and mutated spiritual sciences into a political premise for supremacy. So when I said the who, what, when, where, and why of what they have planned, I now am going to do part 2 to show you how they're going to implement the plan and what we're going to need to do for us to be able to circumvent that. So it goes on for about 7 hours. You can actually see. I'm not sure if Hank, you put up the link for them to register.
Oh, it's in the show description, Baba Phil. Already loaded.
Great. Registration will be essentially this price is the discount, and it goes until the 30th of this month, and then it goes to its regular price. So the how will deal with the manipulation of perception and how our perception, the global perception, is being manipulated, and what we're going to do to circumvent that. How the solfeggio frequencies and how the 528, 417, and the different frequencies are now being used to actually interface with the heavy metals that have been put into you based upon the JAB. They can now manipulate you via that nano programming. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the who, what, when, where, and why, but how they're going to do it is what we're going to do to give you that information as much as possible. Why? Because if you're not ready to so what we want to do is to make sure that the people understand and understand what's at stake for them in this coming year, 2024, which is an 8 cycle, which is as above, so below. Now that 8 cycle also on its side means eternity. So whatever is established in this year is going to take on a cycle where it's going to keep repeating itself until whatever it is, evil or good, is going to see a run. We're going for the good. But in this case, the so-called new old order have their plans in place. They're not going down without a fight. And most of it is to wipe out at least 2.5 billion on this planet by the year 2030. So what we're going to do again, and we may not be able to do this much longer. That's the whole thing. Every time I do a webinar, I warn my brothers and sisters, we may not be able to do this as freely. They've already blocked me they just blocked me again on YouTube, telling me that what I said and what I did in a response to some of this nonsense that's going on, that it doesn't come into their evaluation or into their scheme of things. It's all censoring. It's all the way that they're playing the game. So these webinars, these private webinars, are the only place that I can stretch. So please spread the word and let the people know that I have a lot of answers for them to what's really going on and who is really behind it. There's no Republican, there's no Democrat, there's no Trump, and there's no Biden. These are puppets. And you have to understand who the puppet masters are and how they're dealing from a religious sense. Their quest for domination is based on a religious motivation. So you can't deal with any kind of to deal with somebody who is a fanatic about what they think, especially what they think about you, that you're nothing but animals, that you're low lives. It's the reason why they can do what they're doing overseas in the Middle East, They can wipe out people because they're less than human. So you have to understand the way they think about you and why they think about you like this, because they're conditioned to believe that you are less than human. So until
What's the remedy to that, Baba Phil?
the
If they
remedy,
think we ain't nothing but an ant, what is the ant response to that?
that's the same thing that Loki said in that book. He says, what is an ant to a boot, or a boot to an ant, that type of thing? Well, that's what they
Ooh.
think about. So what you have to understand, here's the deal. When we teach you about what frequencies are about and how to deal with counter frequencies and what to do to gird yourself, I saw Mama Kafunia, you had the bowl. Now that bowl itself should be registered in a 528 hertz frequency.
Yes.
If it's registered to that, then what you're doing right now is recalibrating your DNA. In the recalibrating of the DNA, the particular technology is to disjoint it and to not allow the so-called junk part of your DNA to coalesce based upon the consciousness that you presently hold, because it's consciousness that allows you to braid your DNA in the manner that causes you to be able to climb in your consciousness. So how you think, what you think, if you're constantly suffering, worrying about your rent and the whole 9 yards, you are not thinking about ascension. The ascension, the ascension codes are already, the ascension codes are already factored into your DNA. In other words, creation automatically means redemption. There's no going to hell or any of this. In our eschatology, even Satan, even Set was redeemed. In their eschatology, it's forever. And they have that factored over into their physical thinking, which is why they believe that the physical, which is the earth, is the only heaven there is. Not understanding, essentially, that what you're doing here is simply passing through. And what you're doing is, the whole thing about what you are in the avatar is experience, because you're nothing more than a feedback module for the Most High. Everything you are participating in is what the Most High is learning about itself. The Most High can't know itself without creating.
Right.
It is all things. It is the all and all. So how does the all and all know what it is? It doesn't know what it is. It just simply exists as itself, omnipotent, unknowable. We are in the known and the unknown. And those are the two that we work from in order to at least access the unknowable. So we here in the known are factoring with information. And then what we do with that information is to extract as much as we can from the unknown. And as the unknown bears its secrets to us, we get a touch or a glimpse through the pineal of the unknowable. And that's the task and that's the work. But they are definitely not able to do that because they lack the prerequisite molecule for them to access that particular area code, and that's melanin. And the
And
understanding about melanin and what melanin is a superconductor.
yes.
It's a purified form of dark matter. It is the darkness before it became the light. But the truth is that the light had to return into the darkness in order to know itself. And the darkness was us. This is why he can't understand that. And the reason why he must cover himself in all kinds of technology and mechanicals in order to access that. That's why you see all his movies. He's in Iron Man suits and all these things. That's his version of melanin.
Thank you for sharing that.
He can't understand it. But his technology is to access the infinity, to access the eternal, to access God. We don't have to do that. We've taught the sciences, the spiritual sciences, which still are upheld in the Indus Kush over there in India, in the Dravidians, before they actually turned the Veda into the rigged Veda. The rigged Veda are the ones who came in from the ones who came out of the Caucasus and invaded India and became the Brahmins. The Brahmins are the Ashkenazi. People don't know that. And they're the ones who created the Varna system of untouchability. And they took the Vedas and put in that blackness was a curse. And you notice that the Abrahamic religions came out of the Vedic because Abraham is nothing more than Brahma turned on its side. It took the A from the end of Brahma, put it in the front, and called it Abraham. And Abraham's wife was Sarah, and Brahma's wife is Saraswati. So Christianity, everything you see about the Abrahamic religions is a ripoff of the ancient Indus Kush out of Ethiopia, or what we call Kush. It came out of there and became this three-headed dog called the Abrahamic religions. So we have a lot to understand and to learn about ourselves first before we get caught up into all this religification of reason. We keep dealing with the religification of reasoning, and that doesn't work. We can't do that. You have to take religion, put it aside, and speak from a spiritual point of view.
Facts. Brother Phil Valentine, thank you for that summary, so to speak. And when you were speaking, I was thinking about the God particle that is within us. You know, when you were saying that they're looking for, those other folks are looking for God or trying to be like God. And, you know, my whole thing is like through the technology, I even got a download saying that we're not really in 2023 because with all of the folly and uckery that's going on and the advance of technology and not humanity, that is a huge red flag for me. Understanding that there's no way we can be in 2023 with all the folly that's going on. You know,
the God particle is hydrogen.
Right.
The God particle is your soul. And that's what we are. We are offshoots of the particle itself. The particle is what it is, the darkness folded over onto itself. You have to understand what that everything is hydrogen, or what we call hydrogen. You know, and that's, if you look at what melanin is actually the intelligence of the hydrogen atom expressed into consciousness.
This is amazing. This is my kind of food, my spiritual food. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm sure when you're going to be doing your workshop, you're going to give out, you know, we see what the issues are, and you're going to show us and guide us to that aspect. And I know you're going to have a whole bunch of, you know, solutions for us, but the time is really now, because those solar flares have been kicking up a lot of quote unquote dust and awakening the people out of the sleep and slumber who have been hoodwinked into believing an illusion, you know, of this. And the reason why we're in trouble is because we have adapted, or we have become infected, okay, by the illusion and forgetting about who we are. Geometry of divinity.
The solar flares are nothing more than a reprogramming of the cosmic computer. Because you have to remember that we are living out of the diffused light of the One Most High.
Yes.
The way that it presences itself within the atmosphere of the waters we breathe, because we're breathing the waters, it is being conditioned by the solar material that is actually suffused within that atmosphere. The atmosphere is suffused with information. Light is information.
Yes.
And so when the flares come up, it's just a changing of the programming to suit what is necessary for you to be able to adjust to the ascension process. A lot of people look at it as something that is dangerous because what it does, it just simply is a cleansing mechanism. It doesn't do anything to us, it does it to them because they are second order entities. They are not part of what you call first order entities, which are you all. You are a first order entity.
And also, what came to mind is the careless Ethiopians who adapt and forget about their own light and go into another type of illusion that's causing these problems, like these gatekeepers. You know what I mean?
That was caused by Ptolemy. Ptolemy caused that rift. Back when Ptolemy conquered Egypt or Kemet, that left a void in the leadership in Kemet because Alexander never left a what do you call it, a residue to his throne. So Ptolemy, Sota, with Sota meaning in Greek savior, he took on the task of ascending to the throne. He was very much, you have to give it to him because he is the one who wanted to pay enormous amounts of money for all of the sages that were scattered by that war to come back into Kemet and bring all the information to set up what is known then as the Alexandrian Library. The Alexandrian Library at that time was what was then codifying all of the secrets. And he paid something like $40,000 for just the information that he had. Back then, that was some big money. So what happened at that time now, when Catholicism, Christianity began to break into the market, they had to destroy all of that information. So the Crusades were created to protect people or protect Christians in the so-called Holy Land. It was to destroy any evidence of the origins of this mythical so-called savior called Jesus Christus, or Jesus Christ. And there was no such thing as a J. The letter J wasn't used until the 17th century. A person called Jesus.
I want to acknowledge again the Shakti sisters because they're definitely in the alchemy of transmutation. I'm going to go to the kitchen and I want Miss Bliss. I'm giving you the steering wheel of this mothership. And thank you, Baba Phil, and for that overview. And we're just gonna flow with it. Ras Ben.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. What's up?
What's it looking like, man? You got a picture here. Let me put this up. Tell us what we're looking at, because all respect due to your mastery, but for someone uninitiated, look like chicken scratch. What is this?
Well, this is what they would call a chart, right? Astrological chart, which is basically a picture of the sky at any given moment. So when you're looking at your natal chart, what you're doing is looking at a picture of the sky at the time you were born. And you could imagine that inner circle being the earth and the line extending out from the left representing the eastern horizon, right? The line that's kind of at the top of the chart representing the sky where the sun is at high noon, right? The line to the right being the western horizon, and then the line coming from the bottom being the sky where the sun is around midnight. And then, just how a person's natal chart is a microcosm of their life, right? Like someone can look at a picture of the sky at the time you were born and see how your microcosmic life manifests as it's reflected in the macrocosmic. The same we could do for a year. So usually what we'll do to get a vision for the year is take a picture of the sky at high noon, January 1st, And that gives us a microcosm for the year. And that's what we're looking at.
Okay. So can you tell us if this is some type of prediction for the year 2024?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it's always interesting to pull up a chart for an upcoming year and see how does it relate with what's going on. And, you know, the momentum leading up to that year. And, you know, all I could say is, boy, oh boy, you know, we're going to go in depth on the whole chart, 12-12, what we and Kafunya were talking about earlier. But I do got to mention one thing. That number one, we're starting the year Mercury retrograde. And not only that, but Mars and Mercury are hard conjunct in the ninth house.
Mm-hmm.
And the ninth house is the domain of international relations, international morality. It's the house of a lot of the things Dr. Brother Phil was building on as far as what's the line between spirituality and dogmatism.
Wow.
You know, 12th house is where we have our direct and personal relationship with God. Ninth house is where we experience religion and, you know, external teachings and how we receive that, and then want to externalize those teachings on others. So
Seen.
we know Mercury retrograde is going to deal with our perception, our communication, our cognition, you know, like, all right, we misperceived something, we misheard something, but even now, how we processing that and then making decisions accordingly. Conjunct the planet of war, Mars, you know, all weaponry and metallurgy and that, again, that externalization, yang energy in the house of international relations. And we all know what's going on in the world. So 24, it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot and popping. You know, this momentum is going to continue and probably accelerate going into 24, you know?
I want to thank you, my master teachers here, because you know this is like a triangulation of a forecast, having Lloyd and Baba Phil and Ras Ben using different words to basically say you better tie up your boots, my brothers and sisters. It's about to hit the fan. Yeah, I said it. But yeah, go ahead. Please continue, Ross, because this is amazing. This is like, get your rain poncho. What you gonna say, Bliss?
You know, I was gonna say that, and I don't know if you want to talk about this, Ras Ben. I did notice where Pluto was located. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, the planet Pluto.
Are you speaking of sign or house?
Well, Pluto is located, from what I remember, I think I saw Pluto located in the 10th house.
Okay, 10th house. Yeah. So that's going to be governments that aren't operating out of truth. They're going to be, you know, experiencing disempowerment. And, you know, because 10th house is house of government. But we also know that Pluto just moved into Aquarius this current year, 2023.
Yes.
And it's a big shift. We saw it in a couple of ways. Now, Pluto's
Pluto is, of course, the slowest moving planet. It takes the longest time in any given sign. I think it has been in Capricorn since, was it 90? Nah. It's been in there a long time. And I know it's going to be in Aquarius until 2044. Okay, from this current year to 2044. So, I want to say it was 09. 08, 09 is when Pluto moved into Capricorn. And
Ooh, wait a minute.
It's just
Y'all
now
remember what
leaving.
happened in 2008 and 2009? Anybody remember that history?
Right. The economic crumble, yes.
There you
But
go.
I would say the two big hallmarks we saw with Pluto and Aquarius this year, this was the year of labor, right? Like the auto workers, the Hollywood strikes, labor. This was a big year for them. They called this the year of labor. That's Pluto moving into Aquarius, power to the people. Collective bargaining. Because Aquarius is about the many that make the one, And Pluto is where power and truth reside.
Also,
all those issues.
If I may, I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, but
Oh, no, please.
Interestingly enough, Pluto rules the subatomic.
Mm.
It rules the subatomic, and over there now you're speaking of the time of governments. The language and the discussion of nuclear weapons are very high on the list of people, especially on governmental lips. They always speak about low-level nukes. In fact, part of the whole thing going on right now there in the Middle East is for Israel to build the Ben Gurion Canal,
Right.
to rival the Suez Canal.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
And they're going to use 500 nuclear weapons underground
Mm.
to make that happen. So yes, if you're saying Pluto is getting ready to move out of, what is it, Capricorn, and into Aquarius. Aquarius, from what I remember, is the sign of revelations as well, because you see that the actual icon is actually tipping over the urn and emptying out the water. So all things are going to be known. That's why a lot of the young people are waking up today. They're taking everything that the elders have actually given out, and they're running with it now. Those are the ones that are the dangerous ones. And here's what they say. They say that the most dangerous people on earth today, that is the nemesis to those who are conducting what they're doing over there. The most dangerous people are young Black people. That's around the globe right now. Young Black people. I'm sorry, Lloyd. Yeah.
Lloyd, you're muted. You got to unmute.
Lloyd. You're muted. Yeah.
Lloyd, you're muted. Unmute.
Still muted.
You're still
muted.
You're still muted.
Still muted.
Am I?
Good.
There you go.
Good.
The only thing I want to say is Pluto, with it moving into Aquarius, which is a sign of revolution and technology. When Pluto is the transformation planet, which we know, and I say it, I put it this way: this is when winners become losers and losers become winners.
Yeah. And the transformation process is
giant. There's this guy Julius Malami.
Yeah, Malenga.
Malenga, that's right. Of EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters. That's going to change the whole equation. So when
what about that young boy from out of Burkina Faso?
Ibrahim
Traore. Yeah, it's getting ready to happen. And they say when you say Pluto is the sign of change, it's change at the subatomic level, which is touching on the spiritual and the soul level.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this is where it's getting ready to get deep next year.
This sounds like Kundalini activation also. And
Pre-Kundalini.
pre-Kundalini.
Because the people got to heal before that Kundalini rises. Because
You got that right, brother.
Yes.
They will kill them if it
Exactly.
try rising now.
Well, I'm going to have to exit everyone, family.
Oh,
All right, good brother. Salute.
Beginning of the year. So
Steady on your good works.
about this seminar, I definitely want them. Ras Ben, you have not been a guest on my show. Queen of Food is going to put me so I can do a solo with you.
All right.
Explain
Honor.
metaphorically what it would be.
It's an honor, Star. Keep shining.
I'm making my commitment to all these witnesses on here, okay?
Lloyd, before you go,
Yes.
tell all the little children and grandkids that's listening to you right now, what is your words of advice going into 2024?
Or for them, you know, and there's this, what's that saying used to be? And the child shall lead them. Don't forget, you were just saying about how children, Phil was just talking about how there's going to be a whole transformation of children being in the more brilliant stages. And I saw this African young lady. She was rapping off the numbers. She was answering. She was giving the answers to her. The guy could finish his questions. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening. But this culture wants to sleep at the wheel. But listen, I don't think it's going to happen. They will make an attempt. I will agree with Phil on that. And you know, when you're desperate and your back is to the wall, you will fight. But they cannot stop the original man. I understand that, brother.
I want to thank you, Lloyd, for your humble genius. Family, here we have Lloyd Strayhorn. He's been a humble servant to our community. Now, he could have been arrogant and boisterous, but he's a very humble, and he's published multiple books. And you have scholars here who have published books. So tell us what books you have right now, Lloyd, before you take off on your magic carpet.
Well, I have a series of them. Lloyd, Numbers in You, a numerology guide for everyday living. Numbers in You, Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology workbook. Then I have Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology guide for the 21st century and beyond. And I got Lloyd's Numbers in You, a cosmic blueprint to happiness and joy.
Thank you. And I know, Baba Phil, you got something cooking on that cosmic stove with a pen and paper. So I salute you before it even manifests.
Ashe.
Yeah, I'm working on my book is called Cosmic Codex, Book of the Earth. It's going to be 1,000 pages, and it's going to run really deep.
I'm going to be one of the first ones to buy a copy when it comes out. Okay.
All right. Ashe.
That's how we do. All righty. Yeah. Everybody, I gotta exit. God bless all of you.
Peace, Lloyd.
Lloyd, thank you, bro.
Keep shining.
Bye. I don't care what they say.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Peace and blessings.
I'd like to jump in for a second. Ras Ben and Baba Phil, give thanks for all of the words of wisdom. I just wanted to point out that with the information that you've been giving us so far in terms of turmoil and chaos in terms of international relations, but at the same time, there's you mentioned the winners becoming losers, the losers becoming winners. You talk about revolution in Africa, so it's almost like there's a split. There's energy moving in a sort of a negative direction, but there's also a tremendous amount of potential for movement in a positive direction. So I really appreciate that, and I just wonder if you could just comment a little bit more on what the little guy, the little people, even us as African Americans in this hemisphere, what is our role in terms of moving energies and moving things on a global level?
Well, if I may, it's keeping the torch lit. The problem is that they've been trying to blow the light that we bring, the elders bring, and have brought to us. They're trying to snuff that light out. It's up to us to keep the torches lit to hand to the next generation. And the way to do that is to be able to nurture and to support young people like me. I'm I guess under Lloyd, I'm the next one that's in my early 70s.
Wow.
And at this particular time, it's for me to come and to either chastise or teach. But at this point right now, I know for a fact that what we have as a burden, like you said, is going in two different directions. Actually, it's all going in one direction. It's that whole parable from the Bible of the chaff and separating the chaff from the wheat or whatever. It's actually a cleansing process. It's a honing process. What seems to be good essentially turns bad after a while because everything in the material realm has a time stamp on it. And it rises, it has its peak, and it falls. What we have to understand is the middle road, the middle ground. What is it that keeps both sides, the opposite, the evil and the good? Now, our ancestors never rebuked the evil to the point where we let the evil build itself to the point where we didn't know what it was doing. We had a kind of pact with it. We knew what to do to not get into its fold, and we knew what to do to ascend out of it. The problem with religion today is it's black and white, if you want to understand that. You're either damned if you do and damned if you don't. And these people who are the sentinels of this kind of thinking have this fatalistic idea about humanity that matches their culture. And they want to spread that around the world. We essentially are so forgiving that we allow the brutality, and we're the ones that's the most forgiving out of all of us. Because, like the brother said, if black people weren't on this planet, they would have wiped themselves out already a long time ago. We're the ones who are the peacekeepers on the spiritual realm. To tell you the truth, if we were to go ape crap or ape shit, like they say, on this planet, if Africa and southern India were to empty out their people in the form of war, I don't care how many they tried to kill, they would definitely be wiped out in a minute. But we're the peacekeepers on the spiritual realm. The problem is the peacekeepers down here are actually from the war makers, so they don't know what peace really is. They found it. They found peace, and they didn't know what it was. So they had to disrupt it. They had to do things to get into it and to change it, to mute it into their own way of thinking, their own way of expressing God, so to speak. Or you know that every time they conquered the people, they changed the name of their God.
Right.
That's the first thing they do is you don't worship your God anymore because that's the one that you called upon and had a personal relationship with the environment and everything, the nature, the place,
right,
everything you name. If I'm talking about it, and I have some friends in South Africa, when I talk about Unkulunkulu, they say, "Whoa, how did you know about Unkulunkulu?" Well, I know about Unkulunkulu because my African brother from South Africa told me about that. Well, Unkulunkulu is a god from them. How did you get that name? Well, the name was given to them from the winds that blew through their ancestors' castles and through the trees and through the countrysides that they came. The name of God is given to the culture that is in the environment for what that God wants to happen in that place and time. You remove the people from the reason why we have so many storms and madness is because the people who actually had the gods that they called away, the name of God at that particular time was the way that they kept the peace on the planet.
Wow.
If I spoke about, Heru, I spoke about, Krishna, that when they called upon those, they were not calling upon anybody to war and the whole night. They called upon it for peace. So when the names of these gods that had the mentality that went with the names of those gods, that's what kept the peace. As soon as this European came and started to destroy it and bring this artificial version of what it is he was taught or stole, that's when you see all these storms and craziness and tsunamis, and that didn't happen as much at the time when we were here. How you build a pyramid in the middle of a tsunami, or in what do you call it? No, you don't build these edifices in what I call not the golden age; it was the Stone Age. Can't understand why it is that black people knew how to do all these things with stone. Their Stone Age is them running around in the what they call the caves of Europe. That's their Stone Age. Our Stone Age was the Golden Age.
If I may interject, Baba Valentine, there was someone in the chat that was saying, are religions still necessary, or has spirituality now emerged as the way? It has always been spirituality. Everything in the unseen is first before it manifests in the flesh. Always.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to do two things at this moment. I want to invite the guest that I had shared amongst the wise men and women. This is Babalao Ifakunle. And I would like also for Adara to share with us. She has some words to share. And I got to, Bliss, hold it down because I got to go and check my tea.
Adara, you got to unmute yourself, Adara.
Before you go, Miss Bliss, before you go there was a question in the chat, and I think Baba would be the one to answer that because he was speaking about religions, and and the question from Love Moves is, are religions still necessary? For my answer, I would say no. And has spirituality now emerged as a way? I would say it's always been there, but go ahead, Baba.
Is it me you're speaking to?
Yes.
Well, spirituality expressed is what became religion when certain nefarious people began to use it as a control mechanism. Religion is religio, which means to relegate somebody's thinking and to relegate their behavior. Some people need it when they're out in the streets crazy and they need some kind of, if Jesus brought them that porridge and gave them some peace, then go ahead and use it as a medicinal. That's fine. But people who want people to ascend understand that there is nature, mother, and father spirit. And that which precedes is invisible. That which you see succeeds is visible. Mother is always visible. Everything that we could see, touch, sense with our senses is feminine. Everything we cannot see that motivates from behind the sea is masculine. So you have to understand that there's a work to understand. First of all, we've been only taught how to identify what we call the effects of reality. We've named everything is the naming of the effects of reality. So we're caught up in the names of the physical, the temporal, the part of us that is not forever. We have lost the language of spirituality, which is the continuum language, the language that keeps us in the spiritual realm, moving forward and understanding that we are nothing more than avatars that are sitting in a point in the classroom to move forward and graduate to the next level. And so what we have understanding now, and what I teach at my university, is the language of the unseen. To understand the language of the unseen, they call it metaphysics. Well, I put the K-E in front of metaphysics, and we call it chemetaphysics. We're taking it back because they say metaphysics is Greek. Well, no, it's not Greek, because Greek, these guys were pastors. These guys actually were herding cows when Kemet was in building pyramids. And they're the ones who went down there. It was the Kemites who taught them how to build all of those. As a matter of fact, the Kemites went down and built all those Parthenons that you see down there. So what I would understand, what I would say to the people of what we are about to get into, what we're learning from religion, is the chains that bind us are actually the three-headed dog that I call Sepphoris. The three-headed dog is actually the three-headed Abrahamic religions that are essentially now at each other's throats. Manned at this, they're being manned by someone who stole the very basic premise of what a religion or what a philosophy is. Because religion is nothing more than philosophy cemented into a regulatory apparatus.
Right. And also, if you have to kill a person, say either you convert or you will be killed. You know what kind of religion is that?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
It's not.
It's based on ego. It's based on the ego structuring of spirituality and philosophy. Philosophy was always about the growing of a particular idea so that it became a premise of understanding so it can be taught to the next generation. When philosophy now was bracketed into a formal teaching mechanism that had a name attached to it, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, now it becomes a regulatory tool for controlling the
Yeah,
human being. At
yeah.
that point, we now have to teach outside of that bracket how to free oneself from the story and get into the movement that the story was meant to teach, and that is your own individual sojourn in consciousness. Not to go and wait for somebody to come back and say, well, you're going to be redeemed, not to look at somebody dying and bleeding on a cross, not to say that this is no. If you want to understand it, the all basic religions, the three religions are based on one simple fact: love
Fear.
your neighbor and thyself. The three religions are based on what is called universal truths. So I don't care what language you say it in, when you speak it, it is something that someone says, yes, you're right. I don't have to believe that somebody named Jesus walked the earth to know that you love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes,
That
my aunt, my
that
aunt,
intercessor.
my
The
aunt.
intercessor is unnecessary. Exactly. So the intercessor is the controller. And that's who you have all these Sanhedrins, and you have the Pope and the enclaves. All of these people are controllers. They're the ones who are to control your mind. They don't believe in spirituality. They don't believe in love, life after. They're the ones who want to drink the blood of children because that's what's going to give them their high. They're the ones who sacrifice and think that this is what's going to empower them. These are the sick people who have taken philosophy to a dangerous level. And now it's showing itself because the people who are killing each other in the Middle East are actually brothers from the same Levantian area that the Neo Neanderthal came from. They're all the same people. I'm
Wow.
sorry. I didn't mean to monopolize.
No, but that's good, Miss. You have the floor,
Wow.
my sister. That
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Phil. Adara, do you want to unmute now? So we're going to get some comments from our sister Adara from the feminine perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely. Peace and blessings, everybody. I've been enjoying the chat. Brother Phil Valentine, you always bring amazing information. Baraka, love you, boo. Good to see you. Good to see you. Everybody. I've spoken to all of you in individual times, except for Dr. Phil Valentine. But for those who don't know me, my name is Adara Moselle. I am a tantric shaman. And it's kind of funny that they ended this conversation with the whole intercessor thing, because that is what a shaman does. And before the corruption and before the meddling, there were shamans. You see what I'm saying? And they taught you how to connect to divinity through yourself, right? Through the earth, through your body, through your consciousness, through the breath, through all these different things. And as hands have meddled into our society and into our culture, we have lost the fact that a lot of us have shamanic backgrounds, which is how we naturally know how to do things, how we're able to heal with music, heal with color, heal with art, heal with just being around, healing with dance, healing with any old little bitty thing, right? So what I'm doing this evening is I'm bringing some tools of empowerment to help us get through all of this stuff, right? Because in addition to part of being a shaman is I channel, right? I channel, I do ritual. I help people tap into their sexuality to better their life. I'll get into that in a little bit. But I listen to spirit very, very deeply. And one thing that has been really big, not even just in this year coming, but in the last 3 years is we don't have time for y'all to be playing like you're not God.
no, wait.
Like the time is of the essence, and we don't have time for you to pretend that you're not God. So we're gonna speed up all the BS. We're gonna speed up all the stuff and put that pressure on your ass, right, to make you step up and be who you're designed to be. Okay, so the tools we have to do this and deal with this is subtle energy, right? Our energy body, our auras, our chakras, all of that different stuff. The way we interact with the world around us, which is also done through subtle energy. Sorry, I'm in DC. I'm not from here. I just got here tonight, so it's from New Towns. I'm at Sonata's beautiful Temple of Mother Earth. It's a beautiful space. She's hosting me. We have an event tomorrow, but that kind of threw me off. But they just want you guys to know how powerful you are, right? So going back to some of the conversations we had tonight about perspective, part of y'all's problem is the way you view the world, right? You view yourself from a weak perspective. You can't be weak and God at the same time unless there's a God of weakness. You see what I'm saying? So, like, again, how are we seeing things? There's an observer and there's a person inside the game. So everybody says it's an illusion, which is there a seat? I need to mute myself? Is fine mute? There's a little echo or something.
We can hear you fine.
We can hear you. Yes. You're good.
Okay, it's echo on my end. Okay. But all these people that you get the observer and the person that's in the scenario, right? So if you're a brick inside the wall, it's hard to change the wall. You have to be outside or away from the wall to be able to take the wall apart, right? So when you look at the perspective of your life, are you observing and seeing this thing from a person that's outside of the matrix, or are you that thing being manipulated? Are you that victim? So when we get into breath work and meditation, what we're doing that for is to give space between the observing and the triggering. All right. So as you expand that out, and you start saying, okay, I feel this feeling, but I'm aware that I'm not my emotion. I said, Sphere 9, Tree of Life, the moon. I am not my emotions. Emotions send you into trance, right? I don't know if y'all know, but emotions send you into trance. That's why y'all be in arguments and you don't realize that you're in an argument or you black out. That's called a trance. God, Aset, or the ocean, or the goddess of the moon is the leader of trance, right? You have to get in a trance before you can get in any other spiritual thing. But at the same time, you have to also be able to break trance to not be a victim. So you guys have to watch your mind. Watch when you're letting something trigger you and you just react. You can't be a reactor anymore. You have to be a dynamic power source, not a reactor. Them days are done. Okay, so just think about your whole life. Like, take responsibility for the parts that you're playing and the parts that you're not playing, and how to make it in the life that you want not come to pass, or is. And with that being said, solar plexus.
Sister, is Dr. Kamaran near you? Is she near you? Is Dr. Sonata Kamara near to where you're broadcasting?
I think I'm saying.
Or are they in the same building, you mean?
Yeah, because there is an echo. Somebody was saying there is a definite echo.
You're in the same building, the same property?
Yeah.
So maybe somebody has to put on a headphone or something like that, or turn down their volume, because when you're in the same vicinity, sometimes it causes feedback or feed forward. Yeah.
I'll turn mine down, I guess. Is that better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, I just can't hear y'all then. Okay.
Yeah. You're good.
Okay, cool. Okay, yes. So with that being said, guys, we have to work on our solar plex chakra, right? So that is how we're going to show up in the world. So like I say, I'm a tantric shaman. I do tantra. I don't know if y'all are familiar with tantra, but you're going to be by the end of this year, because bliss, love, joy, pleasure, all of them, they got some stuff to say, and they are not going to take no for an answer, right? All the problems that we're having and stuff like that within our households, not just sexually and stuff, all of the sadness that we have is from a lack of love or someone mistreating you because they don't know how to deal with love. And the fact we never have the love conversation or how to heal that love is coming to an end, right? But before we get to that, Tantra deals with weaving of the masculine and the feminine, weaving of poles, okay? So we talk about the solar plex chakra as something that is going to help you show up and like get your will out, penetrate the world. It's the sun, it's broadcasting out, right? But also your masculine faculty is doing that. All right. So women, you have a masculine and a feminine. Men, you have a masculine and a feminine. But you should think about it as an active and a receptive side. A lot of us have too much receptive side when it should be active. Some of us have too much active when it should be receptive. All right. So we need to look at which part of our energies are out of balance and how do we bring that back into play. Also, what elements in our body are out of order, energetically and physically. Okay. If you want to test or you want to tell, just think about what emotions you have problems with, what health issues you have problems with. This is going to go back to, like, if you look at the traditional Chinese medicine, the six elements, right? The 6 elements and the 5 element theory. Okay, so each one of your elements deals or organs deals with emotions. You can do little sounds to heal your emotions, just to process it out. They call it the 6 healing sounds. They're very simple, right? But as we build up these organs, they're going to be far less susceptible to the mind control, to the fear mongering, to the lack of harmony, to the over agitation, over sensitivity, over anxiety, depression. All of this stuff is because your energy body is out of whack. And we can't just keep acting like it's not. All right? As we talk about the energy body. And I know I'm running kind of fast. I have a session in a little while. But as we run
I wanted.
I'd say.
Thank you.
You know.
And take note, we got 2 Leos. You know, the Leo energy, and they're both female. Hey. And Bliss Moon is Leo. So we got 3 pretty cats, and Sonata is being very cool at the moment.
Well, Sonata, you want to unmute yourself, because actually Adara is located in DC at Sonata's place, and there's an event going on. So if you want to share something about what your facility offers and what type of event, so everybody would know, because it's not too late, is it? Go ahead, Sonata.
Event that's happening this weekend? No.
We can't hear you, Sonata. You got to unmute.
I think she turned her sound down. You can
turn your sound up.
Love those glasses, girl. Pink is working for you.
We can't hear you. Speak up. She having sound problems on her end because nothing's blocked over here.
Yeah, it might. Did you turn it down because maybe you turned it down because of? No, still can't hear you.
Did Sister Adara go up? Did Sister Adara put her volume up and she put hers down? Why don't you reverse the polarity?
Is that better?
That's a good idea, big bruh. Just with the sound, ladies. Just with the sound.
Or maybe go out and come back in. Maybe that might work.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Kafunia. Do your thing.
And this would be addressed to Dr. Valentine in Alafi. How do you say that? His name?
Oh, Ifakunle.
Yeah. So with this whole man-woman vibration that's going on out here, you know, when the sister was talking about the Tantra and you know, how can we utilize, or what, it's a whole divide and conquer, like Brother Phil was saying, because they're going to go through all extremes to try to destroy or downstroy the trinity of our family here. So when you're offering these type of techniques and everything, how can we, let's say, put it out there on a frequency where this whole foolishness that started, I don't know, man versus woman, and it's a big mess.
Well, I would let my brother Ifakunle have the floor. He hasn't spoken as yet.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Well, greetings and salutations to the floor, to all of the wise heads that are here. I figured that there was, just in terms of polarities. I mean, we in the Yoruba technology or the African science of the Ifa technology, we speak about Oshun, Oshun as being our mother, and so there's a verse of Ifa that says, "Abedegeje ajuba, ajuba ajuba na, abedegeje adifa fun Oshun wuji odoro ni koko orumaleje tanirugbo ti ose selegbo abedegeje ajuba ajuba na biongoyon." And the verse continues on, but it basically tells us about Oshun, who came down with all the different male energies that came from the heavens and from the skies. And so they said that there was 15 men, and among them was only Oshun. And the men did not utilize the energy of Oshun. And they were wondering why their crops weren't growing, why their women were not having children. And they went back to God. And 15 of them went back. And he said, wait, there's only 15. Where's Oshun? Didn't I send 16 of you down to the heaven, down to earth to make things manifest? And so they said, yeah, she's back home taking care of the children and taking care of the house. He says, no, she has to be there to be able to help you in creation. And so the feminine energy, in terms of the Yoruba technology, talks about the importance of women in the idea of creation and how their role and position was in creation. And Olodumare says, you need to go back. You need to go back and beg her to be a part of creation, creating the shrines, creating all the wonderful things that are. And so in Aberegeji Ajuba, the chant says that if we don't involve Oshun in it, nothing will come out right. It is the idea of the luxor, of the shining, the shine that women put on things. When we have men that have this idea, this principle, but this principle energy that makes it come out fine. So a man be able to create this wonderful thing using brass, but it's a woman that comes behind him and shines it so it has luxor. It is the idea that brings out the craftsmanship, the beauty in things is when we involve women in those things that men put themselves involved with. And so the idea, they say, well, that the men builds the house, but the women make a home. Is that finishing touches where you go into the house and you see curtains over the blinds, where the men will just have the blinds, but the women will have this refined sense of the sense of refinement. And so women's energy and the vehicle by which we have to always utilize their principal energies in bringing about refinement and in bringing out the luxury, bringing out the beauty in things. And this is what we have an over accentuating of male energy and principles that then just degrade not only the relationships between, as you were saying, Degar, you were talking about how this is a mess, over sexualizing things and not trying to have them in complete balance. Usually you always everyone screams about Mayat, but really, we want to look at that Mayat. That principle of Mayat is so much involved with that same concept of Oshun in the idea of balance and keeping things in harmony. And that idea, when we go through the astrological signs, we see that Leo is the fire, and that is the male principle, and Virgo is the female principle, and Libra comes in to balance them both out. And so this is this wonderful energy. And so it's when the sister was talking about the tantric energy, we definitely understand that in understanding Yoruba technology, African spiritual science. And so it's very, very important for us to harmonize those things. And I think that's very, very crucial and important.
Thank you. Adara, jump on that. Oshun.
Yes, yes. I actually was thinking about that before I came on, how I was possibly going to bring up the story about how Oshun took the love away from the earth, right? Because people thought it wasn't powerful. you know, but they really don't have any idea. And if women had any, and men, if women had any idea how powerful they really, really were, if they had really any idea how powerful pleasure really was and how it's used to like power the light body, like the light body everybody talks about, all this, it was used to power, like for thousands and thousands of years, ecstasy was used to charge the light body, more than sun gazing, more than all of this stuff. That's what they were using. They were doing high temple rituals over pleasure, over plant medicine to access God and all this stuff. They were giving it to the women, and the women were giving it to the whole society and opening doors, right? So when we start talking about like, why are we having this male-female conversation? Is one, because somebody tricked you into believing that you guys are different, that men and women are for real different. We're all people. People have emotions, but we want to blame the other side for the fact that we're hurt. That's because we don't really want to do the work. We just want to blame people. Okay, so that's like accountability, period. And as long as we can engage in that, that's all it really is. Until we start holding each other and healing each other of the traumas that we have in the sexual world, and the fatherless homes, and the bad mothering, because mothers do, bad moms do just as much damage as bad dads that people don't want to talk about. There's some trash moms out there.
They ain't talking about that enough, Adara. Go ahead, girl.
I'm serious. There's some real hurt in this community, man. It's some real hurt in this community, and nobody really wants to talk about it, right? So, I do tantra, and I also did sensual massage for a long time. When I was doing sensual massage, people don't understand the role that those type of people, like the strippers and this and that, play for society. If there were no strippers, no prostitutes, none of this stuff for people to get their frustration off of, the world would have been over. That's why it's the oldest thing. The world would have been over. It's saving people's relationships. When men used to come home from war, they would have to go see these women because it would be uncivilized to go back into regular society because they were bloodthirsty from war. So it was these women who were healing them with precious oils, precious herbs, teaching them about the way of Kundalini and how to use it to manifest and to bring their woman to a powerful place, to let their woman or oracle. Like, women in the house were oracles. It wasn't just this chick on a mountain. Women was just oracles. Women, y'all are just oracles. And you can manifest anything you want and anything he wants if you know how to tap into the power of your womb. Be willing to have pleasure, right? Because if you don't, you're all tied up and dry and stuff. You can't. The earth is fertile because of water. When a woman is dried up and clenched up and stuff, her ability to create is very much diminished, right? As above, so below. If we are earth, and our womb waters the earth and brings things into creation, if you are not manifesting from that or empowering that, what are we even really doing? And it doesn't have to be in a sexual way fully, but you have to at least be tapped into it. And brothers, you have to at least be tapped into the power that you wield in this thing. Like, what does your penis really do? What is it really? What it's a bull, it's an arrow for you to put at anything that you want to bring into realization. It's a focusing point. Like, everything has a point to it. A sword comes to a point. It's the highest piece of pressure, right? And men have to understand how to control themselves, how to harness that, and to burst that pressure into whatever they're trying to create, which is a better community, which is a better earth, which is better science, which is better backbones, better people. Like, we had this conversation about religion. Religion was designed to cultivate a certain type of person. Culture is made to make a certain type of person, right? So when we're out here having this, whatever it is, not giving any consideration to the type of people we're creating through the process, and through the education, and through the food, and through the rearing, and then to the whole community support as a whole, we're never really going to heal. We're going to be having these conversations over and over, praying that Anunnaki come and get us. And they're not coming. You are the Anunnaki. You are supposed to save yourself. That's what Jesus said, pick up your cross and walk with me. You are God. These are the things, right? So tap into your subtle body, tap into your pleasure and all of that. So me and Sonata, quick fast forward because I have to get out of here, but me and Sonata are having what's called a sensuality kickback tomorrow night. And it is an opportunity for people to be in a safe space and really embrace the opening of their sacral chakra in a very, very healthy but fun and risque way, because like Brother Phil Valentine said, we were not afraid of the darkness. We're not afraid of the shadow. The tantrika goes where nobody else will go. We'll go in the dark and pull you out. Where everybody else will be all high and mighty, we will go to the dark alley and pull you out. We will show you to the light and show you to the love. And most times in that dark alley, when you're willing to face yourself in the shadow, you find your power, because your power is also in your shadow. Look at your Lilith. Look at all the challenging things in your astrological parts. Those are your parts of alchemy at any point, right? So when we have our little party tomorrow, which is going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. But it's an opportunity for you to be seen and for you to really indulge. So for those who don't know me, I'm most known for touchless orgasm or hands-free body work, tantric body work, which is a method of polarity therapy healing. But it also gives people full body orgasms, past life regressions, all kind of different things, right? So I'm going to do a little bit of demo of that, and also some intimacy things and all those beautiful things. But yeah, man, y'all are powerful. I'm just here to say that.
This is amazing.
It really is.
Because I want to say thank you, Adara, and I appreciate you taking your time, and Sonata. And I want to ask Ras Ben.
Yes.
What's the astrological possibilities as far as the feminine and the masculine energy? Because they got gender bender water in Atlanta, and they got gender bender water damn near everywhere. And folks are losing their rabbit ass mind because the chemicals in the water, they have personified it and swear that's what they are, when they're actually working on an AI agenda on a chemical level, if I can say it like that. Baba Phil.
Well, when you talk about yang, that's Mars. And we already said Mars is hard conjunct Mercury, retrograde. So the whole, what they call it, the manosphere and the alpha male, and there's going to be a lot more confusion around that, misunderstandings and misarticulations around trying to be that the most yang, I don't know. I got to look at where Venus is. Of course, Venus would be Oshun, that feminine principle astrologically. I would have to look at her in that context of that 2024 chart, But I would just say in general, when men activate that Venusian part of themselves, being graceful, being tactful, anytime you're able to get something without taking it, you're activating your Venusian energy, using diplomacy, grace, kind words. What I'm saying, honey catch more than vinegar, That's all the principles of Venus/Oshun that is in the soul that we could activate,
Absolutely.
Ras Ben, when earlier when you were building, you mentioned being wary of the external teachings, and I kind of took that to mean that that we have to beware of those who would attempt to misdirect us and misguide us. And so when Sister Adara was just talking about, there's a lot of pain in terms of the miscommunication between the brothers and the sisters, and that was a very, very powerful point. But I also kind of took that to mean, in terms of, like I said, the external teachings, that we have allowed ourselves to become just totally fixated on these different programs. Norman Lear died either yesterday or today, and I see him as someone who was very, very instrumental in
setting that program.
yes,
You're right.
yes,
The
yes,
archetypes. He set a
yes.
lot of archetypes.
Yes. But today we're dealing with these reality shows, these housewives of this and housewives of that. And, you know, in addition to the sisters dealing with a tremendous amount of trauma, a lot of them, and the brothers as well, but we're also dealing with a tremendous amount of just ignorance in terms of what we expect from each other. You know, like so many of us expect, you know, you're gonna do this for me, and you should be glad that you with me, and it's just so much. It's like you looking at somebody like, where did you learn that? Where did you get that from? You know?
Yeah.
So
I think
Let me just jump in for a second while I have this thought. It's like the lady got upset because the man didn't buy groceries for her, and they were only on 3 dates. When she went to Walmart, and the bill was like $400 and something, and she wanted him to pay for that after going out 3 times.
And I would just offer, I think one of the best remedies for all of that, I don't talk about black man, black woman. I talk about black family. Kafuria mentioned that. I don't even talk about, like, and if anyone starts engaging me in those conversations, I only refer to it in the context of black family.
Give thanks.
You know? And let's set that example. Hey, it's all about the black, you know? If what you expect or how I'm behaving isn't in the best interest of you and the children and the elders and the ancestors, then yeah, we got to meditate on that. Anything outside of that, come on now. This is that social media injecting itself in our relationships, you know? Everybody's relating through this social media thing now. And because I mean, I know this topic was a part of conversation beforehand, but it just seems like, you know, when certain social media icons were created that champion these things,
Yes.
you know, it's out of control now, you know?
Yes.
Oh, if I may, I have to go at 9.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to.
I actually have a question for you, Baba Phil, if you want to answer that before you leave, if you have a moment.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
actually from.
hold on, Bliss. He was saying something.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I was saying that someone mentioned that there is a lot of masculine energy in the, I think, was that you, Brother Ifakunle? Yeah, well,
yes.
I wanted to say that, yes, it is. The masculine energy has superseded only because the feminine have become it.
Look at that.
The reason why we have an overflowing of masculine energy is because women have adopted the feminist, chanting of equality. And the thing is that most people didn't understand that compatibility beats equality, because equality is just a premise to it's the European mindset of dominance. When you're dealing with, instead of compatibility and working with the masculine and the feminine, women today, our sisters have been convinced, because of economic as well as societal pressures and mores, that somehow what men are doing are more important than what women are doing. And that women essentially ended up imitating men. When you talk about empowering women in a society, you're actually talking about the opposite. You're disempowering men, because essentially empowering women was meant to actually do what men do. And what you did then is destroy the family, because now women are going after the same jobs that men needed in order to form families, because men create families, not women. Men are the creators of families. People think about families because the feminine principle coalesces family, but they don't create them. Family that they talk about, single parent family, there's no such thing. That's a European's way of dealing with a dysfunction. These are single units, survival units. That's what I call them. Single survival units, where you have one parent. And so women have been ostracized from their power. At the end of my book, I entreat women to return to the throne of your feminine self.
Nice.
That part of it is no longer there. And the reason for that is women have actually drunk the so called Western Kool Aid. They really believe. What do you think men, the so called passport bros or something like that, nowadays, why are they going overseas? Because the women are actually never lost their femininity. Look at the stage today. Our sisters have examples of whores and sluts going up on stage to entertain and entertain. And if you look at young people today, what they're dressing their young people in, they have these young little girls in essentially what is it that you sisters wore, Boo, as underwear that used to need them in winter? Hmm? Tights, they call them something else. You see through.
Spandex.
No, what do they call them? Spandex? No, they were underwear. No,
Tongues? You talking tongues?
no,
Thongs.
no.
Leggings.
See-throughs? Yeah, the things that they wore.
Lingerie.
No, they, huh?
I can't keep up.
Stockings.
The leggings.
Stockings.
No, they were pantyhose. That's what they were called.
Pantyhose, yeah.
Pantyhose. Stockings. Yeah.
Well, no, stockings used to go up and I remember women wearing the garter belt, which was difficult as hell to
Yes.
take off back in those days. But sorry, I didn't mean that at that point. But anyway, back in the day, what you're looking at is the people who run the clothing industry today are turning our young people into sluts, our young girls into sluts, because they essentially have women wearing these pantyhoses that were actually their revisions of pantyhoses, because women are walking around where you can see the cleaves of their backsides and even the camel toes of their vaginas walking the streets. Before, it used to be they used to push up the breasts as they come hither, and every now and then when a cold wind would go, we'd get to see the headlights as the high beams would go on. But then after that, now it's no longer just the breasts that's going to entice. You got to look down at the crotch today. And the women today are wearing clothes that essentially are underwear that they have now fashionalized into you wearing outside. So today, what women are wearing has lost the appeal, and the mystery of woman is no longer there anymore.
Right.
There's no longer that thing is what's going on with this beautiful woman. She's just she's not nature. It's like every time spring comes, she dresses herself in flowers to entice us, to make us feel, look and see beauty. But today, when the last thing I saw was this child going up on stage in order to sing before some people, and there was a whole arena of children yelling and screaming. And here's this child, they have a shot of her coming out from underneath the stage, where the dress that she was wearing was right above her backside. You could see it kept riding back up, and she was with a thong on stage. That's what has happened to the feminine principle today. It has become masculinized.
Yeah.
So yes, it's become masculinized, then yes, we have more masculine energy than we need in order to get the family, as my good brother Ras Ben said, back in order. The men are the primary, and I know that women don't like this today because they have that feminist mentality. The men are the primary authority. Women are the secondary authority, but it doesn't mean that they are less.
Right.
Primary authority is the masculine principle. It always has been. If it wasn't, then women would not be trying today to imitate everything that men does. They want to do basketball, football, They want to do everything that men does. They even said that women are equal at tennis. And thank God for Venus coming out and saying that you have to out your mind. A white man that is the 230th in standings with men beat the top flight. Children, young boys, pubescent boys beat the number one soccer team, female soccer team, 14 and under, beat female adults in soccer. And this thing to get us to get in there to fight women, men fighting women,
Crazy.
allowing these crazy men who believe they're women to fight women. This is what's happening because the feminine principle has stepped off of her throne.
Absolutely.
Yes, and also I just
hold on, Cafonia, hold your thought, because Bliss, you did have a question, and I want to hear what your question is.
It's actually a question from Sava from UK, the Marvel nerd. I think he's one of your students. So
Yeah.
his question is, the masculine principle is invisible. How does one study the invisible? And can you recommend the book?
The invisible realm speaks to us only when we have the wisdom enough to shut the thoughts down, because thoughts interfere with the whispers of the invisible. See, the invisible realm whispers, whereas the temporal realm shouts. All the noise that you're seeing here, that's what keeps you. And when your temporal realm is what forms your thoughts, and now the thoughts become the noise in your head. So that noise in your head prevents the whispers from beyond the enemy. So you don't hear that. You can't hear it because you don't know the science of stillness.
Oh, that was powerful the way you put that, Baba Phil. Thank you. Ifakule, you wanted to build on that with your please share now.
Yeah, so I mean, interestingly enough, I did a divination. The divination said that and it brought the sign of Iwori Rete. And just to give a little bit of background about Iwori Rete, it talks about Ogun. It talks about the masculine and the emphasis of masculine energy coming forth in such a very, very erratic way. And particularly, this is in which the area in which Ogun begins to be able to show himself in a very, and so again, the continuation of war in the house. So Iwori talks about those things and the principles of where Ogun comes down, and he comes to the house of Irete. And so that's what it says, that the craziness, the were of male energy, the craziness of how male energy manifests and moves. And this, because we can have a constructive male energy and we can have a destructive male energy.
Yeah.
You have to look at the principles and how the offsets of that is. The only way that this destructive male energy, as the story of Ifa tells us, tells us that Ogun went and he was coming out into the world and he was naked. In his nakedness, he came in what you would have considered a crazy man coming out of the woods, unclothed, untamed, civilized. And and it was Oshun that then used honey to be able to coat her body with the honey. And the idea of what Baba Phil was talking about, the idea of someone was talking about the idea of seduction, the idea of this being seductive, bringing this feminine principle, bringing that idea that she was wanting to tame him by tempering, giving, wanting to tempt him to be able to look in the law and wanting to taste that honey. And so this is the idea. So one of the things that when I performed the divination for the year 2024, I saw that male energy and that Ogun, that Mars, that energy of coming out very, very harshly in the next year. And so men are going to have a very difficult time. You're going to find men that are not going to be in any kind of balance, or particularly going to have more difficult times who are not in relationships with feminized women who can bring out the soft areas of their harshness and be able to temper or to shine, bring the luxury out inside of them. And so yeah, when we look at the upcoming year, it talks about the mind, and really about the mind wanting to go outside of its house. And so the idea for travel and for business opportunities and external business opportunities for the upcoming year, because of this very very strong mental energy, and of course male energy has this sense of hunter and gathering, going and getting this active principle. So it's going to be a lot of active or a lot of activity that's going on, but we need to placate the Ogun energy, placate it so that we can be on the right side. Because if we're on the wrong side of Ogun, we have accidents, we have tragedies, we have earthquakes. So now, well, not earthquakes so much as we will have the colliding of metals, and the continuation of war and explosion. That is what Ogun does, to be able to activate his craziness. He activates his craziness by misdirecting, and to destroy that which he has built. Ogun's energy is an energy which can then go and keep building and building and building and building. And we have a principle which is called Ochosi, which gives him the idea of limitations. So the bow and arrow that is inside, that idea of using this arrow, as the sister talked about, what is that male principle, and what does he have? He has an arrow, and this arrow of pointing the energy in the direction in which he wants to build, and putting this principle inside of this vulva, and putting it inside of this yoni, so that it can be able to be productive and have something that it can build on. So this idea is something very, very essential for the next year. And so we're going to see the continuation of men dying early, not being able.
Shout out to Brother Panic.
Yeah, maybe early deaths, and really that idea of, I don't know what his family situation was, but he definitely needed definitely some very, very specific healing. Obviously, because he jumped through the hole and left us. But really, we're going to need those massages. We're going to need that tantra energy. We're going to need those type of things that will be able to nurture this erratic energy, and especially when the sister was talking about them coming back from war. And where did they have to go? They had to go somewhere where women were super women. The suits are not just normal women. They're not. They are super women, and they have the idea of this molding. But again, it's a misdirected kind of energy, because we know that if the feminine energy, that idea of Oshun, that idea of fertility, that idea of bringing things to fruition, this active principle, and using the energy of a male Ogun or Shango type energy, right? Because Shango is the light, thunder, and lightning. But the idea of what Oshun does to feminine principle does to Shango, it manifests what Baba Phil was talking about, is diplomacy. It is about being able negotiation ability, being able to negotiate contracts, and be able to negotiate these buildings. And so next year is very, very vital and important for us to consider continuation of what we've been talking about in terms of building farms, and building things which are going to be nurturing the earth, and building and working soil, and not doing so much of that's going to be here. Also looking outside of our hemisphere here in the United States, and looking through Africa, looking through the islands, or wherever else there's going to be. It said that it's going to be very important that we're going to be doing business and getting coordination with other places outside of the United States. At least the water, the idea of water comes up very, very principal, and it tells us that in this reading, it tells us about a man who gets wrapped up, and he's thrown into the water. He was going to help the king, but the king was threatened by him. And so in this story of Iworirete, talks about how this year is about being sure you don't get wrapped up in your ideas so much so that something good doesn't leave you. And so what ended up happening, the king wrapped up a man who was helping him to keep his kingdom in order. The Babalao, the ritual, the person who was the soothsayer, the man who was his great advisor. He was a very strong advisor. He decided that he was being threatened by him and threw him into the water. And he threw him into Oshun's river, and he went spring where the king next town died. And so what ends up happening when he gets there, they have read that no one in the town is going to be, but the first new stranger is going to be. So this idea, this new movement of energy and taking us up the river, and also in the idea of flow, is going to allow us to be able to blossom. And so we will find a lot of threats. We'll find that people will find us this year about being threatened by our own, by their inferiority or their complex of inferiority and not knowing themselves well. And we will then not to be so concerned about that, but the reading says that we're going to move forward as African Americans. At least we should begin to want to move upstream or move outside the realm of where we're comfortable and going into other places and other areas where we can be very, very fruitful. And so
Thank you.
aging of Oshun's energy is very, very vital this year.
Thank you, Baba. Baba Phil,
Yeah.
I know you're tight on time. What did you want to drop on us, brother?
Well, I just wanted to, I think it's very, very, well, I learned something about Ifa now, because it's one of the priests of the Cuban priest told me that I was Ifa. Ifa is actually Jehudi. And that particular story told me the reverse of that too, that Amun-Ra created Sekhmet with very, very masculine energy to kill off all of the unfaithful, all the people that were bringing unbalance. And so Sekhmet went wild and used her masculine energy to kill off not only the bad, but her bloodlust took on the good as well. And so she started killing everybody. And so what Amun-Ra did was to turn Sekhmet into Heteru. Heteru is Oshun. And so she has a double nature in ancient Kemet. And you can actually put Yoruba beside the eschatology of ancient Kem, and they're pretty much the same, actually. And they have these beautiful stories of the workings of forces that they name as gods and give stories to. What I wanted to tell everybody is that I enjoyed myself this evening, and I'm so happy that you young people are taking the torch forward and doing the works that my elders and my teachers had put down for us to carry forward. And I feel very good that the torch is in good hands from this point forward. Please also, if you can, forward the fact that, yes, my webinar is coming up on the 14th of next year. It's a time when everybody wants certain answers. This thing about you will own nothing and be happy is a very real thing that the parasitic elite have in store for us. You will see that I am not for electric cars. I'm not for any of those things that they're giving us that's supposed to be helping us to get better. They're taking us back. So with that, I want to thank you, Brother Hank and Ankh and Ms. Bliss, Dr. Sonata, my brother, the Rebel, no, my sister, the Rebel, Kafunya.
Yeah.
Yes, and Brother Ras Ben, Brother Baraka, it's good seeing you again.
Thank you, Baba.
So what I wanted to just say was to make sure that that you pass forward a lot of the message. Don't hold it up. Don't just hold it up, everybody. And if you have a chance to proselytize and teach, do so.
Yeah.
Don't hold the information because nobody has a coin. I've been holding on to a lot of information, and everybody's been calling me, Dr. V, what to do. And I felt like that movie with the Godfather. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
You ain't going nowhere, brother.
So I just want to say that, please pass the word forward to brothers and sisters who are out there who are not very versed in it. I will be talking about XRP. I'll be talking about the new financial system. I'll be talking about all the psychology, the different weaponry they're going to be using, and how that weapon is going to work, countermeasures for that, how frequencies work, how to tap into those frequencies to do the things you need to do, and how to create the countermeasures against what's going on inside of here. Please delete your body of all the heavy metals, because the 5G and the 6G is going to tune in to all the heavy metals in your body, and that's how they're going to control you. That's how they're going to burn out your organs and shorten your life. So get things that deal with heavy metals to disperse the heavy metals out of your system. Do not take that thing. That
Boop, 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 boop.
yeah,
Ding!
yeah. And to stay away from that, we do exemption. Those who are willing, who don't want to take it. I am an ordained minister, so I do have a church. And if you are willing, you can call me at 800-847-1291, 800-847-1291. And
Let me put that banner up there real quick. 1, and then I put
800
parentheses 800
847
847
1291.
Okay, hold on. Let me 1291. I'm gonna
Now,
put that.
if you have a problem latching on to get your to call that number. We do consultations as well, health consultations. But if you're having a problem getting into or signing on and registering for the webinar, you can also get in contact with me at this number, or you can get in contact with me through my email. That's SUNNU. It's the Kemetic word for doctor. Sanu. SUNNU 777 at Gmail. That's me doing it in the English form, because
Okay.
it's just SNW, but it's SUNNU Sanu 777 at Gmail. If you're having a problem logging on, you're having a problem getting into it, you can use that and call me and leave. But when you do leave it, put in, because I get thousands of emails. Make sure that in the subject box you put in all capitals webinar. So that you want that. You want the link to it. Other than that, my wife and I, we thank you for your kind attention to the work we've done over the last nearly 50 years, and we thank you for those for everything that is coming. I don't feel as if I've not done something, because you all keep reflecting back to me that yes, the work has gone on to and been taken up by worthy people who will then forward the knowledge. I love you all, true that, and understand and overstand that you're in my heart and you're in my mind. But this is where the noise will take place. This is where the confusion will take place. And remember, the heart chakra, the green that you're talking about, that is the seat of the soul. That's where the soul sits, which is why the ancestors, at the weighing of your judgment, they don't weigh your brain, they weigh your heart. And the heart is weighed against the feather. The feather is the higher consciousness that you're supposed to have achieved. If your feather is heavier than your heart, then you go forward into the next dispensation of your consciousness movement. But if it's heavier, the baboon, which is Jehudi, who's taking down the all your life's work, devours the heart, and you go back into the mother's womb to do the work over again. So understand that in your heart, at a place called the sino-auricular node, that is the seat where your heart is. That's the part where they go clear and try to get you to come back. That's where the soul is. So understand your heart is connected to the brain. You have 3 hearts. You have 3 brains, here, and in your stomach. So you understand that the coalescing of the 3, that's the three parts of God that they talk about in Christianity. Okay.
Thank you. Hey, Baba Phil, you always have an open invitation to come back anytime you want. We should do another show as a promo sometime, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
a
next
week
year.
before. Yeah.
A week before that, we can speak on that, and preferably you all will definitely be joining me. And definitely, don't try eating heavily before you come to my program, because we go on for 7 hours.
Well, I hope you record it because
It is recorded. And by the way, we are working on a website called Webinar Archive. Webinar Archive will have all of my webinars from the preceding years, and you can access them by streaming. And we'll hopefully have that up and running sometime in the early part of next year.
Excellent.
With that,
excellent.
I thank you for your kind attention.
And thank you, Baba. We're going to make sure that you got to stick around, man. Because, you know, there's another generation coming up saying, I got a question. There's another generation.
And Baba Phil, is this where you go to the website to register for your webinar?
No, the webinar.
It's in the description, the show description.
You can register there, and it should come up with a. Did you give you the short version of the site, Hank, or the long version?
I copied and pasted everything you sent me.
Can I see it? Is there a way for me to see it?
Hold on a sec.
Because there's one that shows not just the page where you deal, where you actually register, but it gives you everything. It gives you the flyer that you click and register.
It's a link. That's
that's the long link. That's the long link. Yeah, that's the one that just puts you right into the registration page. I'll just send you it. Maybe before
I'll add that too.
Okay, well I'll let me just send it to you by your email.
Okay.
And maybe you can then post that one because that one also has a flyer attached to it. Okay.
All right.
People,
also,
thank you so much.
Ras Ben, your information is in the show description.
All right. Thank you, Baba.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you always have a open invitation too, Ras Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I want to bring Baba Ifakunle back down here because you know something, Baba Ifakunle, I'm seeing people having strange car accidents, and you were speaking about Ogun. Is it possible that you could touch on that? What's going on with these crazy car accidents, car problems? Because I think cars and metal is associated with Ogun. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, so one of the things that when we have Ogun's energy out in the world and we have it untamed and unorganized and not, having the counterbalance of that feminine energy, we're going to have this absolute chaos. And so Ogun is what we call were. Were means craziness. And so sometimes you'll see, the violent action of this masculine energy and their masculine principle, like Ogun going out into the world. Like I said, if Ogun is not tamed and if he's not structured, if he's not satisfied, Ogun, one of the stories tells us that Ogun went into the town. And again, these are all metaphysical stories. And so the idea of them being so literal, not to take them so literal, but he went into the town and he wanted a drink and no one had the town. So Ogun destroyed the town. So the idea of appeasing or the idea of some type of appeasement offerings, things that bring in about temper Ogun's energy in and around this area, we have people who go out like that. We say that or maybe the ancestors come, or we have Ogun that are coming. We have Oro. We have these forces outside in which are moving in such a way that they can bring about destructive energy. There's a destructive energy and a positive energy of Ogun, and so we want to stay on the positive energy of Ogun. Now, one of the things that I recommend is using herbs or using plant medicines to be able to wash and to cleanse yourself. But also, I also sometimes recommend for safety purposes using a piece of red meat and using a little palm oil on it and rubbing it across your body. You can put it inside of a paper bag and rub it around your body. There's rubbing rituals. There's different types of exercising, how you can exercise some of this negative male energy and appease it. And what you would do is you take it and rub it over your body, and it's discarded and placed into the crossroads or is placed on the railroad track. This is one of the ways of being able to be on the right side of accident or car troubles and stuff like that. The other things that you can use is peanuts. So with people who are vegetarians, people sometimes feel a little weird about by meat or rituals with meat. Then you can use peanuts. Peanuts is one of the all-time favorite foods for Ogun. He loves sweet. He loves pineapple. So you can rub a pineapple, take that, and place the offering in the crossroads, so that there's idea of safety. And so there's different rituals that can be performed to bring about and harmonize the energy of Ogun. Ogun energy, something very, very simple. You can actually just taste a little bit of honey and place honey on top of a railroad track and asking Ogun to be of a peace, to be peaceful with you. So honey is a very, very important in ritual items, and of course we know that the Ras Ben was talking about you can get more with honey than you can get than with vinegar. So that's what he was referring to. So the idea of the attraction, bringing things that can attract good things to you, and of course good fragrances are very, very important in during this time. Flowery fragrances are also very, very important during this time in which we have this essentially powerful Ogun energy coming out in the world. And also nurturing energies like mother's wort, and using herbs to plant like mother's wort is a very, very nurturing. Using plants like what we call mint, or we call meherana or maharan. This is a type of plant and herbs that bring about the sweet essences, and they're protective and their energy. So they're not cold energy, but this has this steamy energy that helps to be able to smelt iron. Remember, iron has to be the only way it's smelted is when it's placed into water. So that's when it's hardened. So you're able to manipulate it with fire, but you're able to hold it when it's tempered in a cool, watery environment. And so we want to be able to forge this idea of this water as also different. Like I said, using baths is very, very important during this time in which Ogun is so taking long baths or spiritual type baths with plants, herbs, flowers, and using. And we really need to do a whole workshop on what we need to do ritualistically with plant and bathing, different types of baths. There's so many ways of using oils and essences to be able to bathe yourself in a certain type of vibration, and bringing about a vibration which could be elevated. Remember, the energy just needs to be elevated. The masculine energy just needs to be elevated so that we can deal with the productivity of the energy, but not the destructive part of the energy.
Excellent. What's your contact information?
I have a question. I
Okay,
would like
Bliss, let me just get his number. What's your contact number? Because people are asking.
At mail.com,
Whoa. Say it again.
AWOIFAKUNLE@gmail.com. And I also have a website, which is www.ifakunle.com. And you can reach me at either one of those. And of course, consultations for the New Year reading. I'll be doing New Year reading on this coming 7th. It will be January the 7th. It will be on 23rd Street at a senior center between 6th and 7th Avenue. You all have been welcome to come. Hank has been there. He's enjoyed. He's brought company, and they have been edified. And it's a wonderful occasion. He can speak to about how the New Year reading. We have about 3 different readers. Many years ago, we had an astrologer. He passed away, but we have other developmental type of readings. The upcoming things that I have a book out like Miss Bliss. I have a book called Bliss, and it is
no, that book doesn't have anything to do with me. Just for clarity, that's not my book, and it doesn't have anything to do with me. That's his book.
Like the name, that's all. I said like Miss
Bliss. Just for clarity.
Yeah, no problem. And it's called
Bliss. Go ahead, bro.
and you can find it on Amazon, and it's a road to finding absolute happiness, and it really is principles and ideas that is for development of a blissful life. And so in there I talk about joy and I talk about happiness, but bliss as being the highest form of happiness in the world. And so that really is principally the idea, the premise of the book is to find your highest happiness and how do you develop the highest happiness in your life. And so I
Bliss.
hope that it's a blissful revolution and that all of the goodness that is we want to experience in our life, because all on the internet we have all these people who do not look like us that are talking about happiness. But I wanted to realize that we have the importance of really how do we find absolute happiness? How do we find happiness beyond content, a blissful happiness, and where we find inert, this idea outside of ourselves. And so we have to. It's not an enigma. We have to go and it's a work. It takes work. It takes principles. It takes ideas. It takes tantric energy. Be able to vibrate in a higher form. When we begin to reach and tap into ourselves in the highest form, we can find joy and happiness, contentment, and then eventually reach bliss.
Ashe. Bliss, please share your question or comment.
So I have a few things to say. Sunada has not had the opportunity to speak, so I just want to I want to veggie back off of what he said. Shout out to our sister Sunada who brought out the honey. I want her to be able to speak, and then I do have, I want to veggie back off of what he said in terms of going back to Ogun. So you said it's the Ogun energy. So just for clarity, so that everyone would understand exactly what you're saying, are you saying that the actual driver is following that energy? The person who caused the accident is dealing with that energy, or like how exactly is this happening? Because I personally know of an accident where actually two accidents where neither one of the owners were driving the car, and they were hit in both incidents by men who totally like drove over the car. So what exactly are you saying with this ocean energy? Because I'm not really sure I'm getting it.
So the idea of when there are cycles, right? We know there's cycles, they're energetic cycles, just like when we talk about astrology, the I Ching, but in my case, Ifa gives the idea of what cycle we are in, and so the cycle that the Odu of Ifa was talking about is the idea in which Ogun comes in the world and Ogun's energy is scattered and needs to have direction and refinement. And so in terms of what cycle that we are in this time, it's saying that we're in a cycle in which we need to placate Ogun's energy. We need to temper, we need to keep things cool. And so that's part of why bathing is so very important, because the idea of forging iron needs to be able to be in water to be able to be solid and to be usable. We don't use iron when it's at the top of the heat. We have to take that after the blacksmith has forged it or turned it into what we need it. Then we have to temper it into water. And so this is idea of really knowing that this energy is existing at this time, and what do we do to counteract the negative aspect of it, so that we can utilize the principal power source of all energy. Ogun's energy, that masculine force, that Ogun or Mara's energy, the idea of pushing through, going through something which is very, very harsh, and being able to plunge through, and being able to bring about birth, bringing about something which can be created and formed. The idea of those things is what's going on in the world right now. That masculine energy is crazy.
Hello?
I'm sorry. It's so important for us to keep softness around us. I don't know if you heard that last part.
Yeah, you said to keep soft. So basically, it doesn't matter who the driver is or who's the cause of the accident, because that was the original question. Like, who's bringing this? Because, like I said, it just happened to be the accident was caused by two men who were driving erratic and crazy, and men is naturally masculine energy.
Right.
So that's what I'm
It
saying.
makes
So it
sense.
really doesn't have anything to do with who's the driver. It's just the energy and whoever's around in that realm. Oh, he gone. Well,
Oh, you know
Sunada.
what, Liz? What happened? I could share this. Oh, if I couldn't, hold on. When I had my van, I would smudge my van internally and around the van, and I could actually feel the shift in the energy. So I never got a chance to burn Palo Santo or spray Palo Santo on the interior of the car. I never got a chance to do that because that Dodge transmission and the engine went, and then I got rid of it, and I've just been having a slow dance with my bicycle. So
Yeah. So it's very important. Some of
please,
those to utilize, like you said, things that will be not only the car, smudging your car, very, very important. The smudging, like you said, not only inside but outside, but also putting, either sweet fragrances on the wheels of the car. But the energy, and that will keep that energy from being attractive. It's very, very interesting, very magnetic. Ogun has that magnetic energy, and he also is a conductor. Magnets conduct the energy. So you have this magnetic, and you have the different poles that can be pulling. So when you magnetize certain things, and you're magnetizing this male energy and this male principle too hard, then of course it can overcompensate for that type of energy. So the women who perhaps this might have happened to would have needed to soften some of the energy around them because of this very aggressive energy that was coming at them. That they needed to soften the outer spheres of their car and outer spheres of their environment, so that they can bring about the harmonizing of this male principle that would be coming at them so hard.
that is very interesting because metal energetically is considered a crystal. Metal is
So
crystal,
what you're
form of
saying
crystal.
is that 100% of the accidents were on the women. So you're saying that even though the men who totaled both of these cars, right, caused the accident,
Mm-hmm.
were angry, had to pay a lot of money to the insurance company, you're saying that 100% of these accidents were on the women because they're not feminine enough? Is that what you're saying?
No,
I just
no.
want clarity here for the
Just saying
sisters.
that they can harmonize themselves. My suggestion was only to keeping that energy harmonizing, and it could be as well as men. Although in your particular instance, or the say, but you could find that men are probably this anger issues or things that are going on with men in and around it. In your particular instance, it just happened to be two women, but it also could be coming that energy can be attracted by other men. But it is the idea. More importantly, was that it was the accident that men were driving, and they're driving this energy, this driving energy, this driving male energy that needs to be tempered. That's what my real part. What I'm really pointing out is that we need to keep ourselves very, very protected with softer energy around us, so that when these harshness or this harsh energy or these harsh male principles or these harsh men drivers won't come at us.
So, in other words, I'd like to add something to that because
Why don't you show your face, Cafonia? Because looking at it, bouncing like that looks like it's oh, now we know you real. Okay.
oh, duh. So anyway, I understand what you're saying about the spirit of anger, because when you're angry and you're doing and you're getting ready to go out somewhere or whatnot, and you still have that energy of anger, you are bound to get into some kind of accident or something. Never do anything when you're angry, and that's what I guide my youth to do, or anybody who needs a consultation or anything. You have to step back And you really got to catch your ego mind, because the ego just wants to jump in the car. And no, you don't do that, because like the brother was saying, that frequency is going to follow you, and it's going to want to expand and discharge in some kind of a way.
Expand and discharge. I want to exclaim that. Expand
Right.
and discharge. Those
Yep.
principle. That's the principle of Lagoon. Expand and discharge.
That's
And
right.
if you're not expanding and discharging in the right direction, it
Exactly.
becomes explosive and it becomes destructive.
Yes.
That is very interesting.
Yes.
Thank you for your words, Kafunya. Thank you for your words, Ifakunle. Thank you for your comments, Miss Bliss. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm on a bicycle, and I don't have the fortitude to jump on my bike without saying a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, look, I'm out here with multi-ton vehicles. Let me say my affirmations, my I am affirmations. Ask Archangel Michael to surround my home before I go to sleep at night, because, you know, in this environment, I don't take fake safety for granted. And I think going into 2024, we're going to have to be vigilant with our I am affirmations and our invocations. So I'm going to start back doing the Healing Tuesdays soon come, because that's all we got. As you told me years ago, Ifakunle, the only thing we have left is our magic and our spirituality. They done took everything else.
Ashe.
Mm-hmm.
Ashe. And I just want to say, I think for 2024, the number 8 is actually a feminine number. So it is actually Earth that's going to be happening next year that we will be talking about in the future, probably. However, I also want to say that there's an energy of men who are gossiping, who are manipulating, who are lying, who are cheating, and refuse to talk about it. They promote other women who call another woman the B word, all the Cardi B words that y'all be thinking about. It's women who are also calling other women this, and men who are co-signing it. So that type of energy is out there. I don't know if anyone would consider that masculine when you sit there and you co-sign or you adhere to another woman calling another woman who looks like us all of these type of words. I don't think that that's a good idea. The other thing I want to say is, with the manipulation of men doing it to women and women then doing it back to men, we do have the brother Ras Ben, Mars, and I believe it's in the 10th house along with Mercury, which is like chaos and mayhem coming. So I don't know how the plan is going to be, but I could say there's also going to be a lot of people going to be successful in 2024 who are going to be on this square, who are going to be partnering with the right people when it comes to business. Because when it comes to business and you have partners, you do one thing. You communicate with one another. This shit, if you have 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't care if you have 20 partners. I have deals where I have 40 partners. There isn't one partner who's going to make a decision for the other 39 partners without communication, because no one has been voted as an executive who makes a decision for everyone's else financials, for everyone's else business. So communication is going to be key when it comes to next year, when it comes to building your legacy, partnering with certain people and running your business, and gossiping. Both from the women and from the men is a no-no. When you're a man and you sit there and you're talking about anyone, then you've got nothing else to do. You as a man should be building your business, building your legacy, building your empire, partnering with the rest of your brothers and figuring out how you're going to deal with all this chaos and mayhem. But if you have the time and the energy to go into a group and talk about another person, then you ain't on your square. And 2024 ain't going to be good for you. That's what I got to say.
And Miss Bliss, also, the number 8 is also the infinity sign when it lays down on the side like the Buddha. It's infinity.
And you know what, Blitz? I thank you for your words, and that's the importance for men and women to humble and get past that monkey mind ego and say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. To make a literal prayer of humbleness so that we are gracious, more gracious past our own personal trauma. We become gracious more with each other, hopefully in 2024. So that is my masculine reply to what you just said, Miss Bliss.
Humble though. I remember the brother
Humble.
in the group said we shouldn't use the word humble. I forgot
Listen,
exactly.
all we got is English now. You want to use French? You know what the terminology you can use? If you speak Yoruba or you speak Swahili or Japanese or Chinese, sheshe, abrigado, gracia, whatever. But the intention is humbleness, to humbly say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you.
Surrender is a better word.
What's the word? Surrender. That's what he said. He said we should be using surrender as opposed to humble. But I also want to say that,
you got to be careful.
Put them together. Just whatever. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
but that's a good point.
The last thing is that when men and women, or women and women, and men, as a group have a disagreement, as opposed to saying that's your trauma, that's your drama, that's from your childhood, that's from your parents, we need to reflect and look at what role did we play in that situation, because we all playing roles here in this situation. So when I have a situation with somebody, man, woman, child, or whatever, my first response is not, oh, that's the trauma, that's the drama. My first response is, what role did I play in this situation? What did I do to partake in this situation? And it's going to be a whole pono, but I understand this or overstand this. People do not have to continue to have bad relationships. You're not obligated to be in a bad relationship if someone is verbally abusing you, manipulating you, gossiping about you, taking advantage of you, beating you financially, emotionally. You don't have to entertain that. So you can do ho'oponopono, but you have to realize that you allowed that person to do that to you, and you do not have to allow that person to do it again. And that has nothing to do with their trauma. That actually has to do with your trauma, because you are allowing it to happen because you keep letting them come back and do it to you again. So when I have a situation with someone, I'm not looking at you. I'm not pointing the finger at you. I'm looking at me. What do I need to do to put myself in a better position? What do I need to do to take care of myself so that I can know how to handle these situations when I run into this energy again? Because you're going to keep running into that energy with other people if you don't handle the situation with yourself. If you don't deal with the situation with your heart, how you healing, how you moving forward. It's not about me pointing to you about your trauma and your drama and your whatever you got going on. This is about me and my healing. So that's the way I look at it. And you can do a ho'oponopono. I'm sorry.
Also, the low frequency.
Thank you for that too. Thank you for that too, because there's many pieces to the pie. My. And this pie don't always taste good, but you have to speak on it like you should, because it's the end of the year and it's time for us to listen with our ears. It's the end of the year.
Allegedly.
Go ahead.
Actually, the new year, but anyway, that's another story.
Well, in the here and now, thanks for sharing your words. And
Sonata, she left. Do you leave us, Sonata?
Yeah, Sonata. Ras Ben, I think Ras Ben fell asleep.
I'm here.
I'm here, Star. I'm here.
Do you have any closing words? Because we're coming up on 3 hours.
All right. Well, I just will reaffirm that we're going to go deep on 12/12 with Red and Blue Pills, Sister Kafunya, Star Rebel, on a Zoom session, 2024 visions. Something else that really has stood out for me in this time is for us to need to our need to be able to articulate prophecy.
Ooh.
You know, prophecy and manipulation of prophecy is what's driving a lot of what we're seeing today. And we'll make the distinction within our mind between religion and spirituality, but do we make the distinction within our mind between religion and prophecy? And sometimes when we shun religion because of its control mechanisms and control dimension, we we include prophecy in that. And yeah. A part of what I'm doing with my 2024 reasoning in light of that is where, we're talking about the prophetic stage of 2024. And so I will say on my YouTube channel, Ras Ben188, I just recently released a video called The Prophetic Stage of 2024, where we scratched the surface on that. I'm going to go deeper on the Zoom class, but I also am in the process of pulling together a Patreon community that we're going to start 2024 with. And my first series is going to be on prophecy. And so I just wanted to drop that kernel on y'all. I know we've been together a long time. I ain't going to keep running my mouth, you know?
You know what? I appreciate you, Ras Ben, sharing that. Thank you. And you've been inspirational for me, always pushing the limits with crystals. So I want to give you at this time, I want to say how thankful I am to your insights for crystal activation. And I know that I'm inspired by Edgar Casey saying that Atlanteans, who are us, stayed in their 20s for thousands of years through activated crystals.
Wow.
So, you being a published author about crystals, I really thank you for inspiring me to finish my text and pursue the crystal activation as Tesla did. He spoke that we just scratched the surface with crystal technology.
Yeah, we are scratching the surface.
So I want to thank you here on this platform. You're always welcome to come back and drop on us some of this amazing science that you did. And if you ever have a publication that you want to put out there, like I said, you made sense of this. Even though I went and got my veggie burger, I thank you for being recorded. And Bliss, thank you for holding space. Shakti. But now Bliss, now you got to get your purple whip. So at times that you might have to do some hard style tantra. Say, all right,
that's right.
Y'all, bend over, brothers. Hard with spanking.
Ras Ben, do you think everyone in California? Do you think everyone could use a rose quartz for 2024? Is there any crystals you want to recommend for the brothers?
Oh yeah. I would
go ahead. Let me go ahead. You go first, sister.
Okay. I would recommend definitely shungite. I would recommend rose quartz, black tourmaline, pyrite, and moldavite.
And I'm going to recommend.
I'm putting them down.
I'm going to recommend what Lester Loving always says: lapis.
Lapis.
Ras Ben.
All right,
center, brother.
All right. So with this Martial energy, Mars conjunct Mercury retrograde, 9th house. Anytime you want to balance that Martial energy, we're going to look to the iron family, right? So right off the bat, you got hematite, you got your magnets, like magnetized hematite. Can't go wrong. That's my sure shot, you know? Pyrite, iron and sulfur, can't go wrong. Garnet, iron and silica, can't go wrong. Amethyst, iron and silica, can't go wrong. Citrine and amethyst chemically are the same thing. Iron and silica. It's just, is the iron oxidized or rusted or not? If the iron's rusted, it's going to look like citrine. If the iron is not rusted, it's going to be amethyst, you know? Yo, the prophecy stone.
Yeah, I'm writing them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Them prophecy stones, which is fossilized iron, ancient iron, some of the oldest iron on planet Earth. Yeah. The prophecy stones.
Okay.
Let me see if I could grab one to show. Here's one. Dow. Ancient iron.
What's that, Ras Ben?
It's the prophecy stone.
Wow.
The prophecy stone.
Prophecy stone.
That's kind of
fossilized iron.
Man, that has a very significant shape. Wouldn't you agree, Mr.?
Oh, yeah. They come phallic. It's like we dealing with that martial energy, you know?
The prophecy stone. I was like, does that mean like does it have anything to do with actual prophecy, or is that's just the name?
Well, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with the name personally. But I don't know how those stones were given the name prophecy stone. I can't tell you that. But what I will say, you know, all right, so memory, right? What we experience as memory is the silica in our brain holding a magnetic charge of information, just like in a computer, right? A computer chip and the disk and all that is holding a magnetic charge of information, right? So iron is the magnetic element and it holds the magnetic charge, right? But most iron don't have a long life geologically. Why? What happens? What happens if iron gets in contact with water?
It rusts.
It rusts and it'll dissolve, right? So when you have iron deposits in desert, arid areas, or they're so deep in the earth that they don't get in contact with water, iron will petrify and it'll become a stone called limonite. So a lot of different stones are in the limonite family. Bogies, if some of y'all familiar with the bogi crystals, they're fossilized iron. Moki marbles, ones that know me know I bang with them Moki marbles, fossilized iron. And then these prophecy stones, you know? So you have to figure, these things have some of the oldest magnetic charge
Ras Ben?
on the earth. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta thank you for the oldest stone you told me about. I'm wearing, from your information, I am wearing right now new
You talking about the new mic?
Yeah, man.
It's to me, new mic.
Yeah. I love that new mic. I don't have new mic right in front of me right at the moment.
I got it for you. And I got the green tourmaline on it. Look,
Yeah. That Numite
Yeah.
Got it
is
on
like
both sides of my pyramid.
it's like ancient carbon. It's fossilized carbon from some of the earliest cellular life, like 3 billion-year-old fossilized cellular life,
Wow.
you know? So it's very restorative. I know why Rising Sun wears that, because it's restorative of the deep chi.
Yo, it feels so good, man.
Yeah.
And I was guided to add green tourmaline beads
Uh,
to it.
uh.
Bliss, the energy feels magical.
Yeah.
Yo, just from everybody starting to pull out the stones. Kafunya, did you pull
Uh-oh.
out a stone too? You could just feel the energy coming through the screen. I'm almost like,
Yo.
y'all starting to heal the family who watching.
I gotta grab these other
there you go.
prophecy stones.
And while Ras Ben, what family I started getting back into, and a special acknowledgement to my my friend Marlise Yearby. She told me about magnesium, getting back into the magnesium. Go ahead, Ross.
There's another prophecy stone.
Wow,
they missed it.
Wow.
They missed it. You know, they missed it. Look at this one.
Wow.
You know, so you're right. They are very yang, right? You see the, the extension, the erection, and they iron. This is some of the oldest iron on planet Earth. They come out of Kemet. They
What
come
is
out of
that,
Kemet.
Kafunya?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yo,
Hey,
you
brother
guys,
Ross,
man.
Ras Ben, Kafunya, Bliss.
The stones.
Y'all should try experimenting, and family listening, try experimenting with noble gases against the crystals. That is so.
Yeah, well, you put me on to that. I think you blessed me with
a xenon
that
bulb.
Yeah.
I got, and I'm gonna share on the show right now, Bliss, putting a xenon bulb in Kinkaliba tea. In a container, or put it on the side of the container. I don't want to tell y'all, and y'all come busting on my door. You told me to put a light bulb in my tea. No, put it on the side of the container. But the combination of xenon and Kinkaliba is magical. And I'm just seeing those for the first time, Brother Ross. I'm wondering what would it be like if you had some noble gas like xenon or neon against those. You might float.
Family, you can feel the energy.
Yeah, these prophecy stones. So that would be the iron family is what we want to use to balance that martial energy. And then another stone I think is going to be very relevant in 2024 is the celestial quartz.
Oh yeah.
Celestial quartz is they also call it in Brazil, it's called jacare quartz, which I think means like alligator quartz, because it like how an alligator skin is bumpy.
Yeah.
Right.
So are celestials. They're also called skeletal quartz.
Yeah, I got some from you.
It's quartz. You know how most quartz is smooth, right?
Right.
Hold on, let me pull you full screen, man, because you got something.
There
to
you
show.
go.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look at this.
Wow.
So most quartz is like smooth. This is smooth, but you see the etchings and coating.
It look like a spaceship.
Yeah. So all of those etchings and coatings, it's encoded information. This is like you know how our DNA is a crystal with encoded information. That's what the celestial quartz is, So these are our DNA activators. These are download sources, you know, get the downloads popping. They're the angels incarnate in stone. So
angels incarnated in stone.
the angels incarnate in stone. So, you know, we're gonna need to be plugged in 2024.
I agree.
When you get the download, when you get the inspiration, you got to act on it though.
Yeah.
You know, that's your part of the equation. And I will say, I've experienced celestials are purposeful, driven stones. Like, right, when we say that angels incarnate in stone, angels, they ain't just down here chilling, they on a mission, right? So you got to be, because they're DNA activators too. So what they're going to do, they're going to activate your highest purpose, right? You got to be willing to be on your highest purpose. And you got to be willing to be on that angelic frequency, and not just your intention, but your behavior, you know, if you're going to be custodian of celestials.
Thank you for that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I had, sometimes, you know, you forget and you got to cycle back on different crystals. And somebody said that's the biggest rose quartz. Oh, look, what's that you got?
That rose quartz?
Yes.
Wow.
I bet you can't wear it on your neck.
No, you can't. And this is the Numite.
Numite.
Yeah, man. I got 3 of them on me, and I've been feeling really good and happy. Bliss. There's something connected with Numite and feeling happy.
And then
with the green tourmaline.
Yes.
Ras Ben, the angels incarnate in the stone, in the earth, and inspiring our highest purpose. Is that, you know, just I'm like seeing that is being bolstered by a crumbling system, economic system. So in other words, what I'm saying is that it seems like more and more people are walking away from the plantations and really are being forced to you know, come up with their own ways of sustaining themselves.
Yes. Well, I would say, like, I've observed this, because, right, celestials, if you're a custodian of celestials, it's going to impact you personally. What I've observed too is that when celestials are in collective settings, it will impact everyone there. You know, them and another type of stone called cathedral libraries. Celestials and cathedral libraries, they look similar and they have the same impact on the collective, right? So as more people become custodians of the celestials, it's going to impact the collective structure, you know? Is that your lion's paw, Kafunya?
No, this is the lion's paws upstairs. This is crystal that you gifted me with.
Hold on.
All right.
Let's look at that again.
What
is that? Huh?
Apophyllite.
Apophyllite. Yeah.
And gifted me.
That's in the zeolite family.
That's beautiful.
I have stones, crystals in my plants, crystals in my bathroom.
You got Ras Ben going to get his collection and bring it closer. This became a crystal show, Bliss.
You right. Hey,
Oh my God.
pull this up. So now, because you talk, when you say, it's one thing to say angel incarnating stone. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if
I thought I saw a toad or a frog in there.
well, it's a face. If I could get the angle right.
I see it.
Is this
Looks
the
like
right
an
angle?
Olmec face.
Yeah, with locks, beard, eyes, nose. If I get the right angle, you could see it. You know.
A
So
Rasta
Celestials,
crystal, huh?
huh?
A Rasta crystal.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, this is what's on the cover of Rocks of Ages. A lot of people think the face on that cover is CGI, but nah, it's the actual face in here, you know? Because celestials, like I say, they're angels incarnated in stone. So some the what you say, the spirit, the countenance of that angel will be present in the stone. You know? Yeah, yeah.
What I like about the crystals is the interlacing triangles, the pyramids, like
Yes.
the natural pyramids that are formed.
What is that called? What is that one?
This is
That's
an
an celestial.
Yep.
All right, guys. Now
Where'd you
I
get
think
that from, Cafonia? Ras Ben gave you that too?
He didn't. The one that Ras Ben gave me is upstairs in a plant.
Wow.
And that one's called the lion's paw.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of these celestials come like lion's paw. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all right, I got a question. Kufunya and Ras Ben, are you guys do you hear anything from these stones? Are you communicating with them?
Yes.
Like, are you
Come
hear
on
voices?
now.
I'm getting messages that you guys are getting messages from these stones. Like, there's some type of communication going on here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
Shout out. Nikolai
that's
Tesla.
like I said, this is the download. Like when you work with the celestials, they're gonna give you number one, they're gonna activate your DNA. Right? Whatever's dormant
Let me see.
in your DNA that's preventing you from being on your highest purpose, it's gonna get activated. If you got DNA activation of that needs to be shut down, like addictions you got from certain ancestors, or just not the best habits.
Yes,
that we might have got from an ancestry that is keeping us from our highest purpose. It's going to help you shut that down, and put you in a position where, because like I say, they mission oriented. They want to heal the planet one human at a time, So they're going to get you in that position, and then it's going to expand from there. And for me, part of my highest potential was writing and scribing. And the celestials have definitely, they're like my favorite crystal. There was a time, people know, I was given, in retrospect, I got to ask, was it to my detriment, right? I gave away so many, treasures, there's no other way to put it. If you put a monetary value on it, but being obedient, boom, it was like, all right, but because I was so passionate about celestials and getting them in our community, because I realized, yo, we have such genius in us, but it has to be awakened, And I was on that paradigm, oh, I see the genius in them, and if I saw the genius in you and I had an celestial on me, even if it was my personal, it had to go to you, And so,
Ross, the Marian seed crystals too. You see the striations. You can get these are coated with information as well. The
that's
Marian
true.
seed.
And those are another crystal that impacts collectives and communities, not just the person who's the custodian of it,
Ras Ben,
Yo.
it is also obvious that, I mean, with all due respect, but it is obvious that it is part of your higher purpose to share. So when you receive some of these crystals and then you pass them on, like, brother, I mean, there it is right there.
Oh yeah, I don't have no regret, but there are a couple of crystals when it's like I'll think black and be like, damn, I let that one go. You know?
Right,
Yeah. But it is also opportunity on that lesson of non-attachment.
Right.
That, like, we can't, even if something has a high value, what is higher value than our relationships with one another,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's an opportunity to learn them things. And
Wayne Dwyer used to talk about that. He said, give away your most prized things that you love, and it just takes you to another level. Just give it away, And sometimes I let go of crystals too. I'll let it go.
I'll remember that next time we're at Nicholas. I see a nice big table.
Hey, last time I was up there and stayed with Kafunya, I was moving with this citrine I had a lot of love for.
Right.
I had to leave it with the Star Rebel.
Oh, don't worry, brother. I'm going to size up her table and hand her a cup of tea.
Let me go get the citrine. I'm going to go get it.
Yes.
Isn't it also that when you have a crystal or a stone for a certain amount of time, that the work with you have been done and it's actually time for you to pass it on so that it can work with someone else? Isn't that also sort of like, so maybe your spirit is kind of communicating with you that, the lessons is time to be passed on?
Yes.
Yeah. That's true.
It's beautiful.
And I remember the first time, Ras Ben, that it was an outdoor event on Avenue of Americas. This is like over 20 years ago. And I was on my bicycle, of course. And from across the street, I heard a crystal. Baraka, I heard a crystal say, hey, come over here. And it said it inside my head.
Wow.
And I never had experienced that before. So I looked. He said, yeah, over here. And then the one next to it said, me too. Me too. I want to go home with you. I have it to this day. I was just asking it, did it want to come to the screen? It said no.
They shy. They for you.
Yeah, but and
that's how I like them.
And what I did with it, I took it to a Pentecostal church, and I had it wrapped in a cloth. And when they started getting the ghost, it was like real intense. That hallelujah ghost was like snowballing, and I was like telling the crystal, "Yeah, amplify it, crystal, amplify it." And they were like just going. It was almost borderline bizarre. And at the end, they said, "Oh, that was one hell of a service." And then I pulled up my crystal and said, "Yeah," and my crystal was here too. Yo, they got upset.
Wow.
Yo, all you churchgoers, take your crystals to church and see what happened.
What's that, California?
This is the lion's paw.
Wow.
That I got spend.
What is that? What kind of stone is that?
Illustrious, a double terminated.
Wow. That's celestial too?
Yep.
Wow.
Where'd you get that, California?
Ras Ben.
Yo, brother Ras, you be traveling heavy, man.
This is the one that he gifted me.
Hey, Ras, there you go right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that citrine.
This is what he gave me.
Yeah, that's a Congo citrine. Yo.
Congo. From the Congo?
From the Congo. That Congo citrine.
I wear it in my breast.
It's got a mystic vibe with it. That's what I travel with on any given day. That's what I'm wearing right now.
Congo citrine too?
Double terminated. Yeah.
Yo, y'all gotta try a xenon bulb next to it.
I'm waiting.
See what happens.
Kufunya, wasn't there like a spa where the whole room was full of crystals or stones that we were going to? I've been there before. I don't know, do you think too much or like a room? It was a room full of stone, family, like crystals, like everywhere in a spa, and it was like the energy was crazy. I don't know, is it too much for people to go to a place like that before?
They could go in for like a few minutes and then come out. But it was King Spa in Patterson, not in Patterson, in Palisades, New Jersey.
Right.
But I love this crystal. You got to come to my house, Miss Bliss, and I have them everywhere. Yes. I have the windows, and the birds just come. I have a tree right in front of my window, and they just come and perch and hang out there.
Wow, they feel the energy.
Yeah.
So, hey, family, I'm going to go squeeze up on my lady before she goes to sleep.
Before you go to sleep with your lady, this is Leklai.
What?
Leklai. These are live stones. They're called steel eel from Cambodia. And the monks go into the cave and chant, and it comes down from the ceiling like a snake, and then break off into pieces with sparks. And they collect them with bed sheets. It's supposed to be bulletproof when you wear it, and you're doing your right thing. Bulletproof, knife proof, and flame proof. This is Leklai. It means steel eel. Leklai. You can shop for them on Amazon and also eBay. And
I'm going to get it from the source.
Well, if you go to Cambodia, they have Leklai museums and stores that you can buy them. And you got to feed them once a month in the full moon light. Put honey all over them, and it actually eats the honey, according to Yusef.
You gonna have those available, Rising Sun?
On the 16th?
No, because I haven't been called to collect them.
I
haven't. It's like they hang out in my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And but I missed the last full moon, but the next one I'll catch them. When the moon arches over.
This was so great. From 7 to 10:19, almost 10:30. We've been building. This is Miss Bliss. You're amazing. I love hanging out with you. It's crazy.
Salute.
Gods and the goddess.
And I want to thank all of you, because we're going to wrap it up now on closing this show with crystal inspiration. So thank you, Ras Ben. Thank you, Kufunya. Thank you,
December 16th
Bliss.
At Nicholas, Brooklyn, December 16th.
Hold on, let me put it up again. Let me put it up again. There it is.
Yep.
I'll be there.
Yep.
Okay. And I want to thank all the audience. I want to thank Adara. I want to thank Sunata. And Sunata family, I see in the chat somebody was saying you didn't give Sunata enough time.
Yeah, we got to bring her back.
You got to bring her back. And Sunata, she's very shy, and she be riding around in the car while she's having an interview. Okay, so as that song goes, no, 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 no. So I want to thank you again, everybody, and thank you, Barbara. I see you over there, Barbara, from Indiana. Folks listening from everywhere.
Yes, this was great. A great build.
Yes, and we say to everyone,
Ubuntu.
Happy holidays, Ubuntu. Thank you, Othello.
Respect.
Yes, sir. Much love and honor to everybody.
Yes.
And we say night night, because it's past Bliss bedtime.
Mine too.
Night,
All
night.
right.